You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM.
Tobago, politics was we and them. That was never meant to be so, according to the anthem. But ethnic insecurity was maintained to divide us by some people in the country, to sow the seeds of distrust. But we have got a new system within the community. Now what used to be we and them has now become only we. From now on this nation is we. From now on it is you and I. From now on it is unity. From now on we flying high. All the races have come together to build a better country and create a brighter future for the whole society. The we and them thing is no more, because it is plain to see in this country from shore to shore the community is we. No more we and them. From now on this nation is we. No more we and them. From now on this nation is we and we and we and we. Some ancestors came from India and some came from Africa. Look today, their descendants are here, coexisting together. There are others who came here too, the Chinese, Syrians and such. Native people are just a few in this land that we love so much. But the politics of the day and the love for a party cause people to begin to say them is them and we is we. From now on this country is we. From now on we all shall be one. From now on that's how it shall be. From now on all division done. As today united we stand, the people of Trinbago, one country, one nation, one island. Chutney Pan and Calypso, it's Trinidad and Tobago, better known as TNT. And we want the whole world to know we see ourselves as we. No more we and them. From now on this nation is we. No more we and them. From now on this nation is we and we and we and we. In this nation is no more, and Mother China done disappear, gone away for good I'm sure. If we want to build a real nation, there can be no we and them. In spite of ethnic persuasion, all should fit in the system. Side by side we stand hand in hand within the society. This here paradise island, because you and I means we. From now on Lavanti is we. From now on race do not matter. From now on we means unity. From now on we are together. They cannot divide me again, cause we enter a new era. United we shall all remain, looking out for each other. Eric tell me matter they done. Today it is plain to see a new paradigm has begun, and that paradigm is we. No more we and them. From now on this nation is we. No more we and them. From now on this nation is we and we and we and we. we subdivided, as their policies would attest. And now we are united, using that old colonial scheme. They sought to divide and rule, because if we are not a team, we are more easy to fool. Look, they had us fighting each other, causing misery and pain. Now all these times are gone forever, before never again. From now on, Trinidad is we. From now on, one philosophy. From now on, Tobago shall be. From now on, standing equally. No more African, no more Indian. We shall all be citizens, forged together to build one nation. Though we are different persons, done away with the we and them. In this land of Black Trinity, whenever we sing the anthem, from now on is only we. No more we and them. From now on, this nation is we. No more we and them. From now on, this nation is we and we and we and we. No more we and them. From now on, this nation is we. No more we and them. From now on, this nation is we and we and we. No more we and them. From now on, this nation is we. No more we and them. From now on, this nation is we and we and we and we.
Trinidad, to leave here, boy, you must be mad. This is the land of milk and honey, rum and coke and easy money. While those birds as we were singing, alarm bells kept on ringing, pundits on each pulpit saying, oh heart and our soul decaying. Suddenly we wake up to a living nightmare, not least while electorals act. How did we ever come to this? But so long we hearing, you got to stand up and be counted. But daily we're intimidated. Every day I next to witness silence while we recoil from the violence. In our land there is a crisis, broke police, unruly ISIS, while sweet revenge gangs exacting. Police commissioner still acting Trinbago. It's high time we separate the goat from the sheep. Tell them talk is cheap. We're caught in the world when we have to reap, while them police busy playing hide and seek. We're facing the world when we had to reap. Hey, oh yeah, save our land, Trinidad and Tobago. Oh yeah, in our schools, kids getting on, we're fighting, making porn. Us school girls, you won't believe, live MMA, they pulling weave. Check the vibes they're living by, dance all slackness, get rich or die. Alkaline to Movado, mention maestro, they don't know. No morals, no ethics, there is a centrifugal black hole. Nothing must move quick to wake their conscience and save their soul. So We're caught in the world when we have to reap. While we look on them as more mothers who weep. We're caught in the world when we have to reap. Oh yeah. Oh no. Busy street, yes, in our city. Killed by beasts who show no pity. Now there's fear and trepidation. What is happening to our nation? So I pray this one infraction will propel us into action. Trinbago, the time is now. We have to take our country back while these monsters flow. We cannot run from their attack. That is why I'm still saying, time to stand up and be counted. Our young girls, they're being hunted, not for jobs by institutions, but by clubs for prostitution. While from you gas, some arranging on the seas, cargo exchanging in the Gulf, drugs, guns and women, and the Coast Guard cannot stop them. Trinbago, the time is now. Look how the murder rate leap, tell them talk is cheap. We're caught in the world when we have to reap. Before more of our daughters, they put us to sleep. Must stop this world when we have to reap. Time to stand up and be counted. We must defeat this threat they've mounted. We cannot wait for no messiah, like Nero fiddling through the fire. But while the flames we keep romancing, the grim reaper keeps advancing across the land. He casts his shadow, slashing victims to the marrow. Trinbago, the time is now. Look how the price we paying don't steep, while some labor keep. We're caught in the world when we have to reap. We need a fresh new broom for a broad crime sweep. Must stop this world when we have to reap. Save our land, Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I say you get up one morning, your elders have something. You don't know how they get it, but you want to use it. But if you ask them old people to get the things what they went through, ask them this any day, and your parents sure to say, black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. Make up your mind, brother, that you're able to get a pulley and jam with the devil wife. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. Make up your mind, brother, that you're ready to swim offshore and hold your boat steady. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. So when you hear you get a little something with that dragon, now you keep watching, because I don't tell you already. Black man will get nothing easy. I say you get up one morning, and oil money running. How it come you don't know, so that it care how the thing go. But if they read about Uriah, they wanna find out the pressure. How we get so much old hell to get a penny from TLL. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. You got to take up your own cash money, pay people for your own refinery. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. Make up your mind to be a magician, to make money out of scrap iron. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. So when you hear you get a little something, with that eagle eye you keep watching, because I don't tell you already. Black man don't get nothing easy. I say we got up one morning, independence happening, getting the thing come easy. Now they're taking liberty, but if they know about petition, we have to send to England for some woman to tell we in this colony free. Black man have to keep on jabbing, but black man to get a little something. You got to go to conference in England to get independence in your own land. Black man have to keep on jamming, but black man to get a little something. People hold you, humiliate you, turn on and sell you, and then they free you. Black man have to keep on jamming, but black man to get a little something. So when you hear you get a little something with that dragon, now you keep watching because I don't tell you already. Black man don't get nothing easy. So when a black man gets something, he got to start thinking. You get it there easy. He got to practice economy. From getting licked from the slave master to become the landowner, brother, is a terrible journey. Back with plenty brutality. Black man have to keep on jamming. For black man to get a little something, you got to rise up, you got to stand up. Pick up your mind, you will always stay on top. Black man have to keep on jamming. For black man to get a little something, you got to go to conference in England to get independence in your own land. Black man have to keep on jamming. For black man to get a little something, you got to take up your own cash money, pay people for your own refinery. Black man have to keep on jamming. For black man to get a little something, make up your mind to be a magician, to make money out of scrap iron. Black man have to keep on jamming.
Keep me as the apple of thine eye. Hide me under the shadow of thy wing. O Lord, my Savior. It's so hard to deal with personal struggle. It's so sad when you feel alone in your trouble. It's real hard when you want to talk to a brother. It's so bad because of how some look at you after. So Jesus, come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover my head. Satan want me dead. Cover my back from human attack. So Jesus, cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. People see you smile, but don't know the hurt that you're feeling. Even as God's child, at times your heart does be bleeding. Where can you go when you're really looking for healing? Who know how to flow when your soul needs some restoring? So Jesus, cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover me home from evils unknown. Cover my feet so I'll never retreat. Oh Lord, cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover my brother, cover my sister, them who under pressure. Cover the preacher, every church worker, the young believer. the star. Cover. Jesus alone is the one who have the real answer. The one on the throne is the true and loving Father. He will hold your hand and keep you from going under. He will make you stand and let you know he's a fixer. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it, Jesus. Cover me while you fix it, Jesus. Cover me. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it, Jesus. Cover me while you fix it, Jesus. Cover me. Cover me, man. You know the struggle sometimes. Cover me out, that the wrong thing wouldn't come out. Oh Lord, cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it, Jesus. Cover me while you fix it, Jesus. Cover me. Cover the Christian in the midst of aggression with the power of your right hand. Jesus, cover them helpless children. Jesus, defend them. Send help from heaven. Jesus, cover all them radio station that blessing the nation. Grant divine protection. Jesus, cover me.
Truer words were never spoken. The less you associate with some people, the more your life will improve. Anytime you tolerate mediocrity in others, it increases your mediocrity. An important attribute in successful people is their impatience with negative thinking and negative acting people. As you grow, your associates will change. Some of your friends will not want you to go on. They will want you to stay where they are. Friends that don't help you climb will want you to crawl. Your friends will stretch your vision or choke your dream. Those that don't increase you will eventually decrease you. Consider this. Never receive counsel from unproductive people. Never discuss your problems with someone incapable of contributing to the solution, because those who never succeed themselves are always first to tell you how. Not everyone has a right to speak into your life. You are certain to get the worst of the bargain when you exchange ideas with the wrong person. Don't follow anyone who's not going anywhere. With some people you spend an evening. With others, you invest it. Be careful where you stop to inquire for directions along the road of life. Wise is the person who fortifies his life with the right friendships. If you run with wolves, you will learn how to howl. But if you associate with eagles, you will learn how to soar to great heights. A mirror reflects a man's face, but what he is really like is shown by the kind of friends he chooses. The simple but true fact of life is that you become like those with whom you closely associate, for the good and the bad. Note, be not mistaken. This is applicable to family as well as friends. Yes, do love, appreciate, and be thankful for your family, for they will always be your family, no matter what. Just know that they are human first, and though they are family to you, they may be a friend to someone else and will fit somewhere in the criteria above. In prosperity, our friends know us. In adversity, we know our friends. Never make someone a priority when you are only an option for them. If you are going to achieve excellence in big things, you develop the habit in little matters. Excellence is not an exception. It is a prevailing attitude.
Yes. Let me say a special hello to all the WZYE 95.9 FM listeners. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, it's in the village with the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. And of course, we come to you every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. That's Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, each and everyone is welcome in the village, no matter what color t-shirt you wear. Wear a purple t-shirt, a salmon t-shirt, a burgundy t-shirt. You're welcome in the village to the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. Doesn't matter what planet you're from. You're from Mazatanians, Venuranians, Xenoranians, Sonoranians. Each and every one is welcome in the village with the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. Let me say a special welcome to no other than Diana, Stormy, the Storm, Greta, the Twin Babes Gonian from a certain part of Barbados on her way to Trinidad and Tobago by way of St. Augustine, where she went to a school called Sags Girls. Yeah. I think it's Sags Girls, something like that. Yeah. The poet, the poetress, the motivational speaker, the Caribbean Global Award honoree, honoris, honor me, no other than Diana Waveney Benskin Storm McDonald, boy.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, those on the radio and joining us on social media. Your little prelude says you're known by the company you keep. I go and hang out with Spider-Man and Wonder Woman.
Spider-Man. You're going in a movie? You're going in a
And
movie?
Wonder Woman. And I'm gonna see if I can find a Black Panther in between there too.
Oh wow, boy, you're going in a movie. But I have a new sport in Trinidad I want to talk about. I want to know if you want to take part in that sport, but we go talk about that. Let me say welcome.
It's sounding good already.
No, it's a good one. It's an interesting one. I think you're gonna like it. I ain't lying. Let me say a special welcome to no other than Thomas E., the commissioner in Newark, Marshall, by way of Sally Bay. Some people say Celibia. Some people say he went to school in Palo Seco. Some people say Penal. I am not sure, but he is going to say where he went to school. Some people say he went to school that fella with the last name of Johnson. I am not going to say that, but he can say it.
And he mommy cry when he went to school that morning.
This is true. And a special good evening, afternoon to each and every one of you.
Thomas E. Marshall Nisbet.
Good afternoon, family. Good evening. It's evening already. Good evening, family, and a special welcome to everybody in the village, especially the teachers. This is teacher.
You want to qualify?
We hearing you answer. There's a teacher's appreciation
week from the 8th to the 12th of May. Every first week in May is Teachers Appreciation Week. So a special welcome to all the teachers. I know about me, and I know I want to believe my other co-hosts truly appreciate you, because you are the backbone of our society. You are the ones who groom. You see, Aslam was just talking about where we went to school.
But let me tell you, there are like 4 or 5 teachers that come to mind for me. The first one is Mr. Algernon Matthew Peer from Fatima Roman Catholic School on Bush Street. I was at a point where I just felt like giving up at age 11, 12, going to do this, what do you call it? We used to call it common entrance, right?
Yeah.
And he picked up on my behavior toward academics, and he said, Diane, what's going on? He used to call me Diane, a long story behind that name. And I said, I ain't doing nothing, so this ain't gonna help me, and nobody likes me. I had that pity, and he brought me out of it. Then there was another teacher at the same school. Her name was Mrs. Ford. Can't remember her first name, but she was instrumental in, making me feel pretty and liked, and I was okay. It would be okay. I was put to dance the Irish step dance, right? So we went to somewhere in Port of Spain. It could have been Queens, all I don't know. And we danced. I was the lead dancer, and she outfitted me with a plaid skirt. I always remember, and they fixed my miserable hair. And then there was There weren't any at Curepe Junior Secondary because no one understood me then. I was get troublesome because of what I was going through. You know, there was one teacher who would give me a kind word instead of chastising me all the time, Mrs. Ramos. You know, Benskin. Right. And then when I landed at St. Augustine Girls High, oh boy, it was Judy Alcantara, there was Miss Anna Mahace, there was Alice Segobin, Mrs. Carrington, the PE teacher, Mrs. Henry. You talk about surrounded by powerful women who instilled in me, I will be okay. And it is okay how, to be who you are and your accent and your hair and be who you are in your skin and be comfortable with it. I spoke Spanish with a Bajan accent. Miss Segovin and chastised me for that. And Mrs. Samaru, the music teacher, I was no lark, but she let me sing in the choir. So coming from where I was coming from and to belong to positive things in the school, it really did good for me in my blossoming years, becoming myself. So I want to say kudos to those teachers who, right, had an impact on my life. Sorry, Ansel.
Anselm?
That's okay, man. That's what we're here for. It's Teachers Appreciation Month. I remember when I attended Tranquil Government Secondary School, one of my favorite teachers, Mr. Trotman. Mr. Trotman was a math teacher. And when I attended Calvary Roman Catholic School, was the Bain brothers. They used to beat you left, right, and center. Them was the BB boy, the beaten Bains. When you end up in them fellas class, yeah, man, son, you had to be on straight and narrow, boy, straight and narrow path. You understand? So I remember that. And I remember the principal at Tranquility Government Secondary School, Mr. Phillips. Mr. Phillips was about 6'6", boy, towering fella. You know what I mean? Towering fella. Yeah, towering fella. And I remember one day my mother sent down a Puma suede boots to my boy. Puma boy. One of the only Puma they had in the country.
Oh, you lucky.
I went to school with it one day, but boy, I entered myself in a nice too bad, man. I walked down the road and going to school, and Mr. Philip going on the microphone. Aunt Slimly Born, come to the office. I said, oh God, I get a prize. when your name called on the loudspeaker, it's the whole school here. I said, oh God, I'm in business, but I get a prize today. So he called me into the office. He said, that shoes you have on is not part of the school uniform, right? Say you had to go home and take off that shoes and come back. Boy, listen, I had to leave Tranquil. Tranquil is on Target Road in Port of Spain. I had to go all the way up to Schumacher Claventel. And I had to come back and report back to the principal office that day, That man kind of messed me up, boy, because I thought that was the day where I'd pick up a few extra ladies, you know what I mean?
You put a dent in your plans.
Boy, no, but my mother was away because my mother sent it for me. You understand? So I go into flams, man, a flamming boy. I say, oh God, line up and thing. But there's a lot of line up in the morning, right? When you go to school.
Assembly, yeah.
Right, assembly, and they had to check you out, and somebody checked out and they tell Phillips, boy, Philip called me and you had to go, boy, and I had to go and get me a batter Doric, eh? You know what a batter Doric?
Or they had the Chinese and the Chinese, they had a, what was it? It was a Chinese sneaker, like the one Bruce Lee used to wear.
My batter Doric. Batter Doric was the lowest of the low.
No, it was a one Bruce Lee used to wear.
When you have one,
maybe in your neck of the woods. Yeah, I wear batter and Doric.
No.
But when my Doric had a hole where the little toe on my foot grow, I had to tape it up with old pieces of rubber and tire and all kind of things.
Dana,
Or when his soul gone.
I do
His
remember seeing
phone,
middle class people in Trinidad wearing batadoric,
his phone
back then.
keeps dimming.
I do remember seeing middle class people wearing batadoric.
Well, I wore them. Good.
You know
Okay.
what? Anyways, these teachers are who are the most important persons in young lives. And it even goes beyond that. Mentoring is something that we should also treasure. Because our tomorrows depends on the way we treat with the youngins today. Now, two of my offsprings are, my two girls are educators. And I know it's not an easy job to be an educator because you have with so many different type of personalities. And we have to think about we ourselves when we were young.
And one, go ahead, sorry.
Many of us weren't easy to deal with.
Mm.
And we know that to be a fact.
Like Ansler.
No, I ain't gonna lie. I was at, in my teenage years in Trinidad, I was at Terra. I was the smallest. They used to call me Pinocchio at one time. I was so skinny.
But usually you find little people are very aggressive because
but Tommy, you're absolutely correct, man.
they have to compensate for their size by
Tommy, listen,
call the Hitler syndrome, the Napoleon syndrome.
Tommy, listen, man. Me ain't afraid nobody, nothing, nobody. Anytime, anything.
If Pinocchio had met Benny, I'd have fixed your little tail, though.
Oh, yeah, Pinocchio, boy.
I'd have fixed you. But I neglected to remember one teacher who was my maternal uncle who raised me from the age of 3 months to age 9. And he was my first teacher because he was a teacher. And, whatever he taught in school. So I have to give kudos to him too. He instilled the love of reading in me, the importance of speaking properly, manners. Even though I gave trouble and stuff at school, got fight with them boys and that, I was an obedient child. I wasn't a child, I tend to think my friends would say the same thing, but when you trouble me, or you interfere with me, fight break out.
Nah, you know that the trouble me for fight break. When you look at me too hard, I say you're looking at. Huh?
Oh, really? Well, I would look at you every day and you ain't gonna fight me. One night I'd pick you up one day and I put you to sit on me like Pinocchio, chill. Relax yourself.
No. But listen, it have a wrestler by me. His name was the Link. Right? The Link. I used to call him the missing link. I used to say, I used to say, hey, the missing link. And he used to get vexed. I say, watch. You watch now. You can't run on it because he was like about 260 pounds. He was a wrestler, 260 pounds. A wrestler. And I used to tell him, I say, watch now. I say, listen, you can't run on it. I pelt 5 big stone behind you, and I gone in. Get out. Oh, God, boy. Get out.
It was relatively mild in school, but I used to get fatigue. Anytime anybody trying to get to me, I used to get fatigues and have people laugh.
For me, you look like you was just a quiet person sitting in the corner with like Jack Horner and do your work. You look like you can't get no kind of trouble, no way.
No,
your mother crying because you're 6'2", age 11 years old, going to school on a bus and your mother crying.
You mean 3'2"?
You was 3'2" at age 11. You was 6 foot. You were a tiny person.
I was a little bit guy when I was 11 years old. I was very tiny. But be that as it may, I'm sure we have quite a few teachers in the village who could chime in and let us know some of their experiences.
Nadia was in Stormy home today. Not yet, Nadia. He has a girlfriend.
Nadia is a teacher.
Maybe we can banner the number for a call-in because I have another friend from Trinidad. I'm sure he's probably tuned in by now. He asked me for the link today. I know he used to be a teacher too.
Yeah. And I think teachers are not not adequately compensated for what the job that they do. Because their counselor, their father, their mother, their mentor, and they work with you if you're struggling on something. I don't think they're adequately compensated
or appreciated
or appreciated for the work they do.
and
At all levels, university level, wherever.
That's why we got to call them the right name, educators. Yeah, I respect educators, because without educators, we wouldn't have all these professionals. The most important professionals are educators, as far as I'm concerned, because that's who make everybody else.
So let me quickly go to the chat here. Of course, Nadia was first in the chat. Nadia says good night, everyone. Nadia said good night, Anselm. I get red, black, green, blue emojis tonight from Nadia. Yeah, boy. Tommy, good night. Yeah.
Pleasant night to
Tommy
you.
get blue, green, red. Yeah. Diana Benskin. Oh God, Diana Benskin get multicolored ones, boy. Yellow too, boy. She try yellow in there for Diana, yeah? She get Diana no blue. What the blue?
That's a boy.
She blue, no, she get her blue there. She
Mm-hmm.
get her NTA
That's a
there.
stormy.
She get her NTA there. She NTA there, boy. Nadia said good night, Judy, Lana, Rose, Miss Coover, Rennie, Mohammed, good night, Albert, Ken John, Hailey, Ellis, Troy, Ulrich, Pizza. Yeah, boy, Rennie come in the village second, boy. Rennie inching up, boy. The love doctor inching up, boy. Good evening, brothers and sisters. Love in the house. Great love is all I bring. Oh, let me see where you ramming tonight. Let me see what Luke's Diana game tonight. Sending out glorious, super fabulous, phenomenal, tremendous love to all the ladies, boy. Oh,
He using green verbs and yellow adjectives with purple conjunctions. So that ain't working.
Diana, I want to congratulate you. You have been doing a splendiferous job with Rennie and his usses. Because
no, you, not me, it's you.
No. I listen, I'm complimenting you on the job that you are doing, because Rennie been sending me things on the side, telling me how good you have been, helping him, So I just trying to repeat. I hope Rennie don't get vexed with me for telling him a secret. All right, so respect to the panel, Mr.
Take a bow, Diana. Take a bow.
Take a bow.
Rennie not going. Rennie wife ain't gonna look for me a pebble rocks at me. Yeah, okay.
Diana, take a bow now, man. Take a bow now. But Diana, let me quickly go through this. Rennie says, love is a wonderful thing shown by a hug, kiss, even a diamond ring. But for us, for you and me, just like
you're talking my language, diamond ring. Yeah.
Look, ready, Diana. Look, hear that job. Yeah, ready. Love is a wonderful thing shown by a hug, kiss, even a diamond ring. But for you and for me, just like the simple things in life, love is for free. Oh, Diana.
That sounds like a stylistic song. You're copying, you're infringing.
I think
no. I want to
compliment. I think he's original. Diana, that's Dr. Love we have in the village here.
Yeah, like Dr. Love, the man giving it, Diana, but
you know what? If you could have played Rihanna's song, I would have told him, come here, rude boy, okay, you big enough. Come here, rude boy.
Oh, all right. Rennie go accepted.
Diana's no starting him up.
Yeah, you go accept. It's okay to be a badger and beating up people in school.
I'm running from nothing.
Who's that? That's Hailey. Hailey, I was not no badger and beating up nobody. If you interfere with me, I fix your wagon. Right? You pull up my skirt or you touch me in the wrong place, you're getting licks. Good.
Me even think that's what you was talking about,
No. He said he ain't said Bajan, he said Borjan. He messing with me being a Bajan.
Yeah. I ain't get.
Yeah.
Nadia says laugh a lot. Tropics, welcome back, boy. Tropics. Yeah. Tropics for a long time, boy.
Welcome, Tropics.
Welcome back, boy. Yeah, man. Diana Benskin is Stormy home today. No. Stormy.
No, you have a girlfriend, I tell you. Right now, he playing at tea time with her, and then they just take him over to his
What was the question you wanted some insight on? I don't remember that. What was the
teaching.
question?
Teaching.
Teaching is all hard work, all hard work and hard work. They are definitely not compensated in alignment with the KSA. Denise, you just be using all kind of acronyms that people don't know about, Denise. Right? What is KSA?
You know, something
Something
ability.
Republic of South Africa.
Denise should call in. She should call in and express some of her sentiments.
No, Denise has a real information.
I don't like to fight highly. If you interfere with me, then I would, if you touch me the wrong way, you pull out my skirt, you pull out my shirt, you try to trip me, you put yourself in front of me, trying to rub on me and stuff. Yeah, fight go break out. I don't like to fight, but just move out my way when you see me now.
Nah, Bajan.
I'm not a bad man. I was a young girl protecting myself.
I like to fight. Oh God.
I like to fight. I protect myself. I was not a pushover.
Oh God.
No.
Ali, don't try to throw the Diana under the bus. Don't try that.
Yeah. Don't put no mirror on your foot and try to peep under my skirt and all that. No. You're not going down that road. No.
And I was just defending herself. That's all.
That's right. Defending myself.
Defending herself. Eileen, I feel like I used to beat up Eileen in school, I feel so, no. But Diana, yes, what I think okay, all right. I'll get rid of something inside of here. This is the thing what they have a new sport in Trinidad.
Oh Lord.
A new sport. I don't know, what I could get rid of here, but
knowledge, skills, ability. I figured the K was knowledge, but I couldn't get the S and the A.
Oh, Denise, yeah, but Denise has gained some high science kind of acronyms there, boy. Yeah. Let me see something here where I can move, boy. All right, I know where I'm gonna move. I'm gonna move this one here. No, I moved that. I can't move that. Oh, let me move this one here.
So what's the new sport answer?
Yeah, I'm bringing that for you right now. That is what I have so much videos.
So you know about this sport?
Which one?
No, they tell me LS2 might be want to try this sport. I don't know. I was waiting for him to come in the chat before I put it up, but
well, hurry up now. Let me see this sport if it's viable, feasible, profitable. Let me hear.
Well, they say that
or it's laughable. Huh?
It's the new sport. They say it's one of the top 3 new sports in the world. And
anyone with it sliding on the grease pole, no, not that one. Have you seen that where they walking across and they're trying to hold on so they don't fall in a mud pit? Okay, is that the same one?
You see, Tommy. I tell you, I said Diana wanted to do the dance, right? I tell you the new dance. Diana had an interest in it, and look where she going. All right.
So what dance? I want to see it. Then bring it now. I mean,
it downloading. You know, I mean,
it downloading.
Yeah.
I see Donald Trump was charged guilty for raping that woman. Anyway, let me go ahead.
You had to pay $2 million or $5 million. Small money.
Lord.
I was reading where Pot was calling the kettle, telling the kettle the bottom black.
Or kettle telling the pot, yeah, but kettle telling black that the bottom. Okay.
Here it is.
Kate Ning-Si Kwan is an ex-ballerina who migrated to TNT 8 years ago. Her Harlow TT studio is a pole and ballet studio where Kate offers a range of child and adult classes, including Pilates, jazz, and hip-hop. The video you are seeing is Kate at work.
I also set up the Pole Sports Federation of Trinidad and Tobago, which I'm currently the president of, which means that when we get our athletic team, I will be the one leading the coaching for the Trinidad team, hopefully, to be able to compete on an international level as a sport.
She describes pole as a sport which is among the fastest growing sporting trends across the globe. Kate offers pole classes only to those between 16 and 60 years old, and yes, her class includes 2 males. On Saturday, Harlow Studio put on a production entitled Wonderland, which featured pole for a short segment.
The reason why sport and the pole was put in there was for the particular character that it was being played, and that was the caterpillar. At no point was there any sexuality, and I get that there is still a huge connotation attached to pole, but we are not doing stripping. We are doing a very technical, extraordinarily hard sport that requires a huge physical and mental strength to do. And the technique behind it is incredibly difficult.
This hasn't been sitting well with Umar Abdullah and the First Wave movement, who call it an erosion of moral standards and decency. Kate disagrees.
In Russia, at the moment in Russia, they have 6-year-olds starting pole because they're starting to see it as a huge sport. So those children right now are being brought up to learn from it as a sport and not in it in a sexual way in any nature. Mm-hmm. So if you look it up a little bit more, when you go to different countries, Ukraine, Russia, Eastern Europeans, the Chinese are also doing a lot of kids poles.
Abdullah condemned the performance, saying it was distasteful and inappropriate to have provocative pole dancing at a family show with children in attendance. From Kate's point of view, it's about empowering women.
The amount of women that have come into my studio that had little to no confidence, that have tried this, that have got different shapes, that are not athletic, that have not done anything, that have worked so incredibly hard to get so strong. It is the most phenomenal thing to watch women find a place that they are not judged, no matter what. And I think that's the most important part. And if people take it in a sexual manner, then that is not my fault.
And that hasn't been the feedback she has been getting.
The costume has to be a little bit less. Reason being that it was all very, very cleverly done. Reason being is if you go onto a pole with full clothes, you can imagine what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. You're going to fall and break your neck. So obviously there has to be a certain amount of skin contact on a metal pole. However, all the moves were done within complete taste. All the children adored.
The Diego Martin-based studio's Wonderland production featured professional dancers in and out of Harlow Studios. Urvashi Tawari, Rupnarayan, TV6 News.
No, there was a lot of controversy from Brother Abdullah concerning that. I read where he was rubbishing it and saying that it is distasteful and disrespectful and this and that.
Let me see if you can call him real quick before we get.
But wait now, wait answer. How? So wait, you tore me in or you tore him out on that?
Correct.
I tore him out on that.
Me too. Because let me tell you something. How? Well, she done draw the line already, 16 to 60. That ain't include me. So, and here the name. Did she say the name is Harlot? Did I hear it right? Is it I hear it. Anybody hear the name? Is it Harlot or Harem? I don't know. I didn't hear it properly.
That's a very physical sport, you know. That they don't walk in the park.
How? Well, why you can't teach the girls on them gymnastics? How are you empowering? I would love to have she on the show. How are you empowering my girl child to put on skimpy thing and go skin up on a pole? Huh?
But that's not what she's saying, though. She's saying that many people.
But that's what I feel. I know. And you're trying to justify. You're trying to justify a sport that sexualizes women further. Huh? By what? Are you empowering me? Or are you empowering me? I would like to know. How is she empowering me to get being able to do that? To get on a pole and skin all 59 different angles. Huh? All the acre land God give you everybody's face. How are you empowering a woman? And you put in some sort of knowledge in her head that she can go and get a job? I don't agree with that. I would love to get her on the show.
Yeah, she can get a job as a pole dancer. She can get a job as a pole dancer.
Well, let her go to. She can get a job as a who? A pole dancer?
Right.
But you see, what you guys gotta understand where she's talking about European countries that
Well, let's she's in Europe then.
Russia.
that it just haven't come to
No. Why you can't teach them ballet? Why you can't teach them, what was the other type of that contemporary dancing? Why you have to be no? You get a no from me wherever you are, and you want to take me on? Come on, no. In an economy where women are already impoverished and very overly sexualized and all that, you want to bring this here now? No.
But Diana, suppose it becomes a hit in Trinidad.
I don't care. I better not find none of my family members up there doing that.
Some people might want to jump on the pole. You never know.
Well, if you want to be a stripper, then you go be a stripper. I ain't stopping you.
But
I connotate it with stupid. No. The only people I see that use a pole in the profession is strippers. And strippers have sideline occupation. No.
So answer what's your opinion?
Diana, what about the thing? You know what?
What?
That's a good one. Eh?
No.
Do I torment or torment on that one, buddy?
No, I'm not. No.
I go torment. You know why I go torment? Because I wouldn't like to see my daughter doing that. You know what I mean? I wouldn't like to see my daughter involved in something like that because it's just the connotation of what it is that it sends a bad
How she get permission to open a studio to do that?
It's Trinidad and Tobago. Only two is Trinidad.
No, contemporary dancing, ballet dancing. There's violin to learn. No. I don't agree with that, and I will argue her down. And if they put this in the curriculum in Trinidad and Tobago, they will hear from me. I will do a research paper for them. No. Top of the hour hands left.
Folks, it's in the village, the DAT Triplet on WZYE. So, with regards to pole dancing in Trinidad and Tobago, all right, Tommy, Tom's out, Diana, Tom out, and
Storm out.
And Eileen says dancing on a pole is empowering. Not sure that's empowering for women. Kapisa says practice for carnival.
Practice for No.
Oh God.
No.
Yes. Folks, we're gonna go for a quick station identification. It's in the village of the DAT Triplets at WZYE 95.9. Of course, we have Mrs. Karen Nunez Tesheira coming up next. Stick and stay. We'll be right.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM.
This thing called TNM, this thing called UNC, is one set of dotishness to Mama Kai, you and me. It ain't have no color, it ain't have no race, it ain't have no principles or any values in place. And it was never meant to be the answer for unity. It shares no philosophy with any consistency. For when you watch the pedigree in each and every party, the difference you see turns out to be a case of power and money. Look here, them French Creoles in Saint-As, Maraval and Saint-Clair, they don't hold no allegiance or no party here. Rich men must be supporting who they feel going to win. Loyalty, friends, means nothing. Money is their thing. That's why PNM quite on turned court to UNC. And when Del Motley, his background showed he was with DAC. Hector Motley, the speaker, dead. And when the last election over, he was UNC instead. Augustus Ramreka sing, I knew him in Tapia. Next thing I know, he was a PNM minister. John Humphrey changed from Trinity and he joined about 5 party. So he's only die-hard you and grassroots me. It's PNM and UNC.
Back with you. It's in the village with the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. We come there every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. That's Tuesday and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. Let me see
Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday.
Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Let me see if I can get Umar Abdullah on the phone. Hold on, Let me try calling. So, folks, we calling Brother Umar Abdullah. Brother Umar Abdullah. Brother Abdullah? Yes. You're very low. You're very low.
Yeah, you hear me?
No.
Hear me?
Okay, yes. You are live on WZYE 95.9 FM in New Jersey.
Good evening, Brother Abdullah.
Good evening, Brother Abdullah.
You are live on air on WZYE 95. You are live on air on WZYE 95.9 FM. Brother Abdullah, we saw an article today with regards to a lady talking about pole dancing. And we know that you have been very, 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 no, let me not say very, very, very. You have been against that type of, they call it a sport. So enlighten us why you think it's something that's not good for Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, I mean, first of all, I do not altogether think, because I was sent a couple of messages indicating that yes, it is a sport. It was included in the Olympics. It's something that's very close to gymnastics and what have you and so on. But the problem I have was the fact that this particular performance was put on in the middle of a child's programming or a child's function, if you want to call it that, or a demonstration of dance that had to do with children. All right, parents was there as well. All right, there was no consultation with the parents whether or not this feature could be added onto the program. All right, so it took everybody by surprise. At least most persons, it took them by surprise. I know a lot of people would say, well, nothing is wrong with it. It's a sport. It's a sport that entails a lot of strength, a lot of endurance, and so on. I have no problem with all of that. I agree with all of that. However, everything has its place. And what I'm saying is that it was out of place at that point in time. Even in the school itself, the managers of the school or the administrators of the school sees it fit to separate pole dancing from the other type of dancing. So at no point in time does those little children interact or actually see or come into contact with those pole dancers in the school. So if they see it fit to separate it in the school, why did you see it fit to make it part of the program? And as you can see in one of the short clip of the video that I shared, there was a child actually sitting on stage while the performance of the pole dancing was going on. All these different scenarios has its place in society. All right. Like for instance, we would sit down and we look at America's Got Talent, and at some point in time, there would be persons who would come on the stage in America's Got Talent or Britain Got Talent, Got Talent, or whatever the case may be, and they would have performances of pole dancers and certain type of different art forms that is meant for entertainment. All right. And all I'm saying is that this is a school that teaches not just entertainment, but it's a school that teaches discipline. all right? And as part of their discipline program, I think it should be, that they should respect, people who have conservative values and so on, and that the parents should have at least be warned or told that this was going to be part of the program. That's what I'm saying, and that's the reason why we're looking at it as for what we said it was. All right, and we are opposed to it. We think that we should have a better type of you know um, communication with parents if this is going to happen, and then get the feedback from parents whether or not they feel comfortable. Because a lot of parents don't feel comfortable. That's the feedback that we got. There's some who felt comfortable. There's some who said that's nothing wrong with it.
I think we're in agreement with Brother Abdullah.
So, Brother Abdullah, you are not saying anything with respect to, you're just saying time and place, right? There's a time and place for something like that, as opposed to, trying to ban that from Trinidad and Tobago, right?
Yeah, no. I'm not saying that we should ban that from Trinidad and Tobago. Right. I'm not saying that at all. I am just saying if I take my kid, or if I take my children out to a family show, a family program, I would expect family type of, family oriented type of entertainment. If I'm to sit down and look at a movie home in the comfort of my home, and there's the list of movies, and it said these list of movies are family oriented, I will feel safe, more or less, to click on one of those movies and look at it comfortable with my child, knowing fully well sometime or some portion of that movie there is going to be an explicit sex scene or something like that. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, right? Or else you won't say it's a family movie. All right? You want the father and the mother and the child to sit down and feel comfortable looking at a movie without having to guess, well, this next scene is going to have a lot of curse words, obscene language, profanity, things like that. That is what I'm saying.
But Brother Abdullah, this is Miss Benskin. How are you doing?
Yes, I'm okay.
Pole dancing is not banned in Trinidad, as far as I know. I've never been, but apparently there are in strip clubs over there, and that is where they belong. I personally, I don't want pole dancing to be presented to these young, impressionable minds. No, I am against it. Let it stay in the club where it belongs. And if she wants to, whoever wants to bring it and do her private thing, but the way they're talking about, it could be in the schools and the new sport. No. Let it stay.
And I want to emphasize the term that you use: impressionable minds.
Yeah. Leave it in the strip club, and if people want to choose to go do that profession, fine. But I do not believe pole dancing should be on no curriculum, nowhere, in no school. No. It better be not in no school that I went to, because they will hear from me. No.
What happened if it becomes an Olympic sport now? What happened?
On Olympics?
Sport, I understand. It was included in the Olympics. But what I'm saying is that, all right, let me just say something here. All right. All these women who get themselves involved in this field, pole dancing, they have to dress, or they dress in a particular way. Not that they have to dress like that. All right. Why not dress in something that is more clothed, that covers the body properly? Why don't dress in something like that? Why it is you have to dress in these bikini type outfits, revealing, a lot more than what should be revealed. All right. So I'm saying, there's so much things that we can talk about. All right, as regards to this. All right, and all I'm saying is that I am there. My child was doing ballet at this particular school. My child is involved in, the arts, this particular type of art, and there's a program, there's a show that the school is putting on, and I expect to see that type of performance and that type of entertainment. I don't want in the middle of it all, one of these soca artists come on on stage and started to sing a wine and dance song. All right, I wouldn't expect that to happen. All right, I wouldn't expect somebody to come on stage and do a striptease. I wouldn't expect somebody to come on stage and do something like that. Right. So what I'm saying is that that particular performance has its place, and I put it where it has its place. You can't tell me that nothing is wrong with that, and it's a sport. What's sport like about that?
Thank you.
Why did you bring a sport performance in the middle of that scenario? Why did you have to do that? And all I'm saying is that there's a tendency and there's a trend globally, right, where we see it's happening in American schools right now, where the drag queens overtaking the type of entertainment and stage performance in the schools and all of that. And we know what that is bringing. We know what that's toting behind, what's being toted behind these type of performances. And we have to be very careful of that type of scenario coming into our country. I remember when Paul, what's his name? The guy who sang Candle in the Wind, what's his name?
Elton John.
Elton John. I remember when Elton John came to Tobago, there was an uproar. When Elton John came to Tobago, a lot of the religious leaders and so on was against him coming to Tobago because of his particular lifestyle. All right? What are you going to tell these people? What are you going to tell these people? Right? We have to understand the society that we live in. All right? And we have to understand, and if we want to bring our children up in a particular way, we want our children to grow up with respect, with good values, good moral values, all these things. And we wouldn't expect that our children being exposed to this type of performances and this type of entertainment is going to grow up in the type of person that we want them to grow up, because their mind, as you said, is impressionable, and once they have this type of influence in their lives and in their in their upbringing, all right, we may tend to trigger some of these desires that people have in them. And once you fuel those desires, you know what's going to happen next. Everybody has those desires in them, right? It's just that the environments that we're living don't trigger those desires and doesn't trigger those type of excitement for us and that sort of thing. So that's why we have to continue creating environments that is safe for our children.
Right. So, Brother Abdullah, we want to thank. We don't want to keep you too. We want to thank you for taking our call, and we saw it, and we were just playing it, and they mentioned you, so we just wanted to call you to get some feedback from you. Thank you so much for taking our call.
Thank you, Brother Abdullah.
Yes,
thank you.
And you are right in your thinking. That's my
That's
opinion.
right. Mm-hmm.
So let's bring in our next guest. We're going from guest to guest to guest. So they say, I have a song say fet after fet after fet is guest after guest after guest after guest. Let's bring in no stranger to the DAT Triplets, no other than Mrs. Karen Nunez Tesheira.
$1 million smile.
The $1 million smile. Yeah.
Well, Miss Karen, they want we to pole dance 16 to 16. We love.
Oh God!
No, they don't really want to pole dance.
They don't even want me to audition, so I ain't got to worry.
I might try a little thing yet.
Okay, Hansley, we know you're fit. Okay, all right. Okay.
He's trying to upstage all of us.
They're going to have to put 3 poles for me to hold on to it.
I try a little thing, So Karen, how are you doing?
Yes, well, I'm happy as usual to be with you all at this show that we have you have for the, as you call it, the West Indian diaspora, Tree Posse, and bringing news that they would have read online, yes, but getting greater points of view and clarification. So good night, everyone. I can't help watching Dana and Anslim Marshall Nisbet's beautiful, gorgeous hoop. I love interior design, and from what I can see, I assume it is his hoop. It's absolutely gorgeous. Just an aside.
Well, I'm actually in my living room in a corner, so.
Okay, well, I can't say that without you, Diana. I'm sorry, eh? Yeah, you're not showing enough. But
Well, let me lighten it up.
So Karen, let me
Yes.
see our background. Our background is with the 17 or 18 Silk in Trinidad and Tobago, senior councils that have been recently appointed in Trinidad and Tobago. And there is this big hoopla, I should say, with respect to the president's husband and the president's brother being appointed senior counsel. And we know that you are very impartial in your opinions. And we like to get your opinion on those two appointments. I mean, there are others too. By the way, Karen, who is Ronnie Besessa? Is he related to Kamala Prasad Besessa, if you know?
No, I know the name though, and he's been in practice many years from South. So but I can't make an assessment in terms of.
Oh, okay. I know he's with Ramesh Lawrence Moraj as well. He's in that
Now that's a good chambers, and you can't get in there just that easy.
Yeah. He's in
And I
that
know
chamber.
the name, and it's well known. So I can't.
Yeah.
And I think what you really want, and highlighting two appointments in particular, but it speaks to a broader issue. In fact, I don't know if you do know, Israel Khan had in March of this year filed an application to the court to determine whether it was constitutional for the prime minister to make the appointments, and that's really a politician, the head of a party. We might be the prime minister, but he is still a politician at heart, whether it was unconstitutional to do so. He had raised that earlier this year, and he did make an application. And I know that he says all of a sudden the Law Association wants to be joined as an interested party. So the real bigger issue, and which is why now it has come to pass that the concerns were really brought to everyone's attention in a very glaring way, in a way in which we can't help but notice. And that is, I had always said that I know Christine Kangaloo, I like as a person, and all the good things they said about her were all, I think, true, both when she was a minister, but it was a very bad choice because she was not fit for purpose, meaning that if it's a constitution we are guided by, and really under the constitution, although executive power resides in the president, in fact, Section 80 provides in effect that except for certain situations like the appointment of 9 independent senators, other ones that are important, the president shall act in accordance with the advice of the cabinet or minister acting under the general authority of the cabinet, except where the constitution otherwise provides. So basically, it's really not an appointment of the president. So the president is giving the rubber stamping it in that sense, because once the decision is made by the prime minister, then the constitution says she has to comply except where otherwise provided. So, of course, what has happened when I said fit for purpose was it was not a good idea to take someone who was in the political gael straight out of it, even though the legislation did allow, the constitution did allow for a member of parliament or senate to be appointed a president. It is not a good thing to do when you look at the role and function of a president. And Paula May Weeks, she was a Court of Appeal judge. Anthony Carmona, he was a judge and also judge of the International Court of Justice. Noor Hassan Ali. I mean, this was such a poor. I mean, this was going too far. It wasn't as if she were away from the politics and the politicians and so on for any length of time. She was there. She was appointed to the Senate, and I guess she got that appointment because when she had gone up in the Pointe-a-Pierre seat, she lost the seat. So she was a very active politician, more active than I in the PNM. So it was a bad result, bad decision, and the chickens have come home to roost. And we've seen very early in her tenure why it was a bad. I mean, I don't know how she could have done it. I mean, she had to do it. Section 80 says she has to do it. But it's her husband and brother you're talking about. So you say I am impartial. So let me just go through what the law is, because we had a little discussion earlier. There's nothing in the Legal Profession Act Trinidad, or maybe it is in other jurisdictions, and they talk about what makes you fit to be a member of the legal profession, and they do give you outlines and so on. But insofar as senior counsel, that is a position, honorary, but it's not just an honorary position, it comes with financial reward. Because if you are senior counsel in a matter, and the matter is one which is deserving of senior counsel, he would have a junior, but junior would get, I don't know, a percentage of what he would get. And, you could not pay senior counsel fees start at a certain level. So immediately you have senior counsel, you are now senior counsel, immediately your fees go up. And when you look at the persons that were appointed, I'm making a very general statement. I am not saying that they're not deserving of it, but so many of them seem, let me put it this way. There may be, but I was not aware from the lineup that I saw that there was anyone who was politically adverse or politically against the PNM and so on. And that should not be a consideration. It's your ability. You are part of a fraternity, just like how doctors have their membership. The legal profession has its membership. And, to use that position, a political position, which is what it is, and the position of prime minister, who knows nothing about, who are you to, to be able to pronounce about who's fit to be senior counsel, and and then use your position basically, and that is the end of it. That is so unfair, because there are so many people that I know that qualify to be senior counsel, and I know the reason. I believe the reason is because they are so bold as to take up a legal matter that would be against the government. Anytime you take up a matter against the government, and you are wanting to be senior counsel and you have all the qualifications of it, if it's the government, the prime minister just will say no. So what is the procedure? Let me go quickly to that. And I got a lot of help from Dave Prasad. He wrote an excellent article in the newspaper. So
Karen, before you go to that, I have a quick question. Karen, so the Constitution says that the Prime Minister will submit these names to, the Attorney General is the one, people make an application and they send it to the Attorney General. The Attorney General will then pick out a set of names and send it to the Prime Minister. Then the Prime Minister will make the decision of which names he's going to pass on to the President, right?
I don't know if that's accurate, totally accurate.
Okay, so isn't the Prime Minister making decisions of which name's going to go to the President?
Well, to begin with, it's not that part you're talking about. It's not in the Constitution, which is what I was about to go on.
Okay, go ahead.
It is in a notice, and that's why I said Dave Prasad and Attorney Law was very helpful. It went back to 1964 when we were still under we were still the Governor General. We were not a republic, and independent yet, but not a republic. And it's by way of a notice pursuant to provisions of Order Number 282. Of the Gazette, Volume 30, Number 18, February 15, 1964, and where they set out the procedure where you call Queen's Counsel in those days, which is now equivalent to Senior Counsel. The process is to submit a names. People can apply for the position. It is submitted to the Attorney General. He then consults with his Chief Justice and other persons and other bodies, but he's under no obligation to do so. There's nothing obliging him to consult with anybody. And remember, the Attorney General, yes, he's the titular head of the legal profession, but he's also a cabinet appointee. He's also a politician. He's also a politician, and he's a cabinet appointee. So directly the politics comes in there. Directly, because when you send the list to the Attorney General, you have to be living in space or somewhere to believe that he submits his recommendation to the Prime Minister. You have to believe that the Prime Minister obviously has a say who will go forward, who will not. Because then the Prime Minister determines whose name, or maybe he adds who he wants. So that's not just AG doing this all by his little self in a little corner. He must speak with the Prime Minister, because at the end of the day, it is the Prime Minister who will then, on the advice of the Governor General, now the President, will then submit it to the President. And the buck stops right there. So really, it is the Prime Minister And in any event, the Attorney General is a political appointee. He's a cabinet minister, a member of the cabinet. So it's not really, they always find distinction just doesn't arise. And then I think in 2000, an application, they did another notice, and the notice said, this is by way of notice, the application is invited to the Attorney General for the appointment to senior counsel. After that, the Prime Minister sends to the President who he thinks will make the appointment. So even in this notice, which I had, it didn't even tell you which is the norm, that they will go and ask the criminal bar and so on, consult. But at the end of the day, a decision, the buck stops with the Prime Minister, because he's the one that will send it on to the President. And as I already read out to you at the very beginning, under Section 80 of the Constitution, the President must comply with the advice of the Cabinet or minister acting under the general authority of the Cabinet, except where otherwise provided. So is the Prime Minister doing this? No, is that right? Is that right?
So Karen, can the Prime Minister, okay, let's say you get a list from the Attorney General and the Attorney General consultant, whoever, and he gets a list of 18 names, right? Can the Prime Minister decide, or he gets a list of 40 names, can the Prime Minister decide to add 4 names to that list?
But he makes recommendations to the Prime Minister. There's nothing in the legal notice. There's nothing in any, usually have regulation that set up the process. There's nothing that says that he can't do that, because what he does say is that after making recommendations, and he just can't be acting in a vacuum, and certainly if he's a cabinet appointee and he wants to keep his job, he knows who not to put on that list. And if he were to put it on the list, they'd be taken off, and and then others' names added. And what I'm saying is, I don't want to besmirch anybody who has been appointed to say they weren't worthy of it. And I will have to say this, and this is where the community, the citizens, become so disenchanted with politicians, and they have every right to, because that same and again, I take no credit for it. It was Dave Prasad who was very particular in December 2011 when the PNM was in opposition, and Anand Ramlugan, which was, I think, wrong, as Attorney General, bestowed on the Prime Minister, Colonel Prasad successor, senior counsel, made a senior counsel. Dr. Rowley had this to say, and this is what he had to say in opposition. What we are seeing now demands the process by which people attain accolades should be transparent, to be put in the hands of the people who will protect the process from self-serving. I copied this from self-serving, whatever word I'm not reading. To see the system abused in the political arena demands that we immediately move to review the system to make it more accountable to the national community. That's your Prime Minister. But you know what is even worse? Reginald Armour, I like him. He's a friend of mine. I just saw him the other day, and no hard feelings personally. When he was president of the Law Association in 2015, right? They did a report, and this is what the report has to say, and he as president would have signed off on it, of the Law Association, said the independence of the legal profession, in particular the bar, from the state in all its pervasive manifestations is one hallmark of a free society. It is objectionable in principle for the executive or head of the executive arm of state, the Honorable Prime Minister, play any role in the selection process. Yeah, they themselves knew it's not right. They themselves, and there you have a picture of that same Attorney General who was president of the Law Association, coming out and saying what he felt is wrong, but they're sitting down there smiling. And the Prime Minister, who said it was wrong when he was in opposition, saying it was wrong. I mean, that really makes you know that no wonder people have no confidence or faith in politicians. And to answer now, so you got it from two people, your Prime Minister, who gives it to the President, and the President, as I read out in Section 80, has to follow what instructions. So she's not making no appointment. She is carrying out a sort of what would we call? I don't know what you call it, but she's not a decision maker. That's the point, right? But
And people were killing her and saying that she appointed her husband and her
Well,
brother. That was totally inaccurate.
well, I don't say that. I don't say that. Um, what I think the people, the man in the street is not going to understand all these procedural problem issues, but the big picture is there, because certainly it does not look good. You were only there a few weeks, a few months. All before that, why all these appointments weren't made? Why these are, and I could think of some of them, and I know some of them. I know what I speak, and they know I know who I'm speaking about, right? These are people who get all their briefs from the government. They're the government go-to person. The day that they ever say anything against the prime minister or say take an objective position, all the fees done, all the briefs done, right? And when it comes to, I'm going to just speak on the husband, Kerwin Garcia. This is why it is so unfair to him, because from my personal point of view, I know Kerwin Garcia. He was one of my students early in the very early years. He was valedictorian in his class. I got to know him more personally in his capacity as a student, but and so I formed a positive opinion about him and his morals and his principles. But more so when I started my legal challenge against, which I have finally won in the Privy Council after how many years. He was the one that had started it, had completed the statement of claim under the old rules, and would not charge me a cent, and did a lot of. He's hardworking, he's bright, and I think he's a very principled person. I've also dealt with him more recently when in a matters involving his state, in which I was asked to be a witness. So, what is the unfairness of that one? And that's the only one I will be able to speak about with any authority. What's the unfairness to him is that appointment should not have been made by his wife. He should have gotten that appointment when Paula May Weeks was still the president. Even if people want to talk, he earned that. But how does it look? How does it look when you are there as president, just a matter of a few weeks, a few months, and just the reason why people objected to you being appointed? You are from the political Gael. You are part of the politics. You don't even remove from it. My goodness gracious me. And I mean, it just looks so bad. The prime minister knows it's wrong because he said it before. The attorney general, when he was president of the Law Association, knew it was wrong. Right? Now, how come it's not wrong now? And look, it's so glaring. I mean, how are you sleeping at night?
What could President Kangaloo have done?
No, I'm not saying what she couldn't have done, but what did she would listen? You are looking. I want to put it carefully. Having been in cabinet, and so with many of them, including Christine Kangaloo, she was a minister she was a minister before I came in, and then continued. She was a minister under Mr. Manning. Dr. Rowley was a minister who was finally made a backbencher. Colin Imbert was there at the time. So a number of the key players in the government when I was in office are there. And it would be very idealistic, or not idealistic is even the word, for you to think that they're not discussions. What is being recommended and has been recommended many times, including by the same Reggie Amo when he was president of Law Association, by Israel Khan, and by a number of other people, and it's how it's done in England now. In England also, set up a committee and a combination. Who are the best persons to judge who should be elevated to the office, to senior counsel position? Should it not be your peers, but those who are senior counsel themselves, members, one or two members of either the High Court and the Court of Appeal, because you have appeared in many cases, would appear before them, so they can make an assessment of you. The Chief Justice definitely. And also, so it should be a combination of persons from the legal profession and some judges and the Chief Justice, who would then be able to really say for the public, this person is worthy of that designation to be made senior counsel. But when it is left There's nothing in the Constitution that tells you. I told you it's done by way of a notice. And the notice come back to 1964. And in England, they don't do it that way anymore because even the Attorney General in England is not really part of the cabinet. She doesn't sit in the cabinet. And they understand because of the dual role. So when you say the AG comes with a risk, I mean, come on. You think, I mean, my goodness, you won't come to the Prime Minister with a list that you know you're not going to be happy with? Please. You don't think there have been discussions about other lawyers during the course of the years? I mean, how could you think that doesn't happen? Christine Gangu is a lawyer herself. Her husband is a lawyer. I mean, whether she practiced the law, just like me, even though she didn't practice the law, you know who has a good reputation, who has a bad reputation. You know these things. And those discussions would go on behind closed doors, which is nothing wrong to form an opinion. But when the decision is left to a cabinet political appointee and the Prime Minister, who is not a lawyer, to tell the president this is who's been appointed, something is terribly wrong. And they know it too. I mean, answering what I'm saying is, when the Prime Minister was not the Prime Minister, he saw everything that was wrong with it. When the Attorney General was the head of the Law Association, he saw everything wrong with it. So how come he has no problem now?
So, Karen, can we describe what happens in Trinidad as a comedy of errors? For the mere reason that when the partnership was in power, it was the AG giving himself and the Prime Minister silk. And now we have this administration and we have this scenario playing off. So what's your opinion?
Well, first of all, they also gave silk to the Chief Justice, and there was such a clamor and outrage by members of the national community that he returned it. There was somebody else they gave it to, and similar response was had, and that person returned. So I know there were two. Two wrong.
The DPP.
The DPP. So two of them, both, and they had taken the senior counsel that was allocated them. Of course, that's not a good thing, because it then gives one the impression that you're beholden or could be seen. Justice must not only be done, it must be seen to be done. And, then you have people saying, oh, the Chief Justice won't ever fine against any matter involving the UNC administration because he owes his, which means it's not right. But you see, you open yourself to that. So two wrongs do not a right make. You get an opportunity to correct it. And you said that you wanted to correct it. So to tell me it was done by another administration, well, we could go back to slavery and say, there was slavery. So where we going with that conversation? All right? Especially when the people who have made these decisions are the person who spoke out against it when they were not in the position they are now. So it doesn't matter to me that what Anand Ramlogan did, I didn't think it was right. And when they gave it to the DPP and CJ, the public spoke out and they returned it because it was not right. Well, Kamala kept it because it was right for her. She's Prime Minister. So what I'm saying is, don't try to, I don't like people trying to justify wrong behavior by pointing to wrong behavior. Then where will we go as a country then? If you're going to tell me, oh, they did something, so where we stuck then? So they did it, we're going to do it. You spoke out against it. You said it was not right. And you also said this is what we should do. Yet when you got the opportunity, you did exactly the same thing. And what makes it even worse, that two of the persons who were made silk, one is the president's husband and the other is the president's brother. I mean, where are we going? I mean, it was already bad enough. You knew it was bad enough. You understood you did not want the executive involved in those types of things, because what happens is, in an indirect way, it affects a democracy. I know that. I mean, I'm a member of the profession. I may not practice, but I have a lot of friends, and I know how many of them know that they will not get silk if they are seen to be an enemy of the Prime Minister. So what is your feelings as Prime Minister that have anything to do with the suitability of a person being made senior counsel. When on every strike that you could think of, and you ask any senior counsel, they would say, yes, that person is deserving of it. When you ask persons in the profession, yes, they might say so. If you ask judges, they say, yes, when they appear to me, I'm very impressed. Why is it that person is deprived of senior counsel designation? Because the prime minister makes a decision, and they know, I'm telling you, they know. I know people who know that. I know people who know that, who should be senior counsel, and they tell me that they will not get it because they can't take briefs. Imagine you talk about a democracy. We're really not a democracy because a lot of lawyers do not take certain briefs because if they take that brief, they know they won't get any more briefs from the state. And if they were looking to become senior counsel and that government is still in office, well, that is dead in the water under our system as it currently obtains.
So we in a lot of trouble in Trinidad and Tobago. We are,
and I'm glad you mentioned that. Let me just quickly say this because I told you I wasn't would be able to stay on long, but it is relevant because it's looking now. He didn't create these notices. It started in 1964, but he spoke out against them and he understood why it was not right. Yet he, when I say he, both the AG and the Prime Minister perpetuated it, and what made it so glaring is the president, smiling and thinking, talking about having parties and this and that. I mean, like if it's a social appointment, and yet you sit down there and have your brother and your husband appointed. And I already said the only one I spoke on was her husband, who I think is worthy of it. But there's a stay now put on his appointment because people now want to take away what I think he rightfully got, which is, hey, you only get it because as the president husband, and that will not be true. You have damaged him in a way that was unnecessary. It should have been done when Paula May Weeks was there. And they might have said something, but at least you couldn't say it's Paula May Weeks' husband.
but Karen, I just thought about something, right?
Yeah.
So we had the UNC between 2010 2015, right?
Yeah.
It seemed that the political parties in Trinidad and Tobago are damaging the country more than really helping the country.
But that is exactly what I'm saying, because it is not right. I mean, you said it is not right. You said there needs to be accountability and transparency and independent of the prime minister. You said it. That same attorney general sitting on there smiling. Yeah? What does that say? Then it becomes a personal thing. It's nothing to do with really, at the end of the day, obviously you can't be a slouch and the worst of the worst. But what it says at the end of the day, you could be an excellent person to be given senior counsel because you could get more briefs, you could charge more because as senior counsel, so many things come with that, apart from the honor of being a senior counsel. But what you have done by doing that is when you weren't in the driver's seat, when you were not in the driver's seat, it was terrible. As soon as you sat in the driver's seat, you change your mind. And the AG who spoke out against it and not so long ago could sit down there comfortably. And just one thing, I just meandered away a little bit. But the more recent thing, so this he did not create it, but he got an opportunity to correct it. That's what he did. And he missed that opportunity, and it was more glaring because of who were among the persons appointed. But the other thing, as he said, get rid of all of these commissions and replace it with a tribunal. People don't even have confidence in those commissions because they are appointed on the advice of the prime minister, and the president has to appoint them. And the most glaring example of that was when many people may not remember this, but when with the Police Service Commission in 2006, they amended the Constitution. And when that amendment was made, it took away, it took away the right of the Prime Minister to just say, I don't want that DPP. And it was the Solicitor General, Chief State, those positions. And the Service Commission and the Police Service Commission would have to take that name and come with another name. Because the Section 111.3 said that if he did not consent to those appointments, the person could not be appointed. So our Prime Minister said, when speaking in the Hansard, he spoke with such vitriol saying that the worst thing they ever did, I was away when this thing happened. But could you imagine taking away the power of the prime minister to decide who's to be DPP? Could you imagine? But no, because he wanted some legislation passed, and he wanted the opposition, because I guess it was 3/5 majority legislation, wanted this thing. He made this thing. He made this accommodation. He said before that, what used to happen? The prime minister would sit down in the quiet of his office, and they would bring a name. He didn't approve. They tried to take it away and bring another name. Nobody had to know. No parliament had to know. Nobody had to know. He only the prime minister in the quiet his office. But what it did, he used an expression which wasn't vulgar as much as it was very disparaging of the decision. He said, and now, what is happening now? Instead of the prime minister, having effectively making that decision, now they have to go to parliament. You know, so you don't want them to tell him what to do, because he was mad when in 2006 they changed the thing and said they had to prepare a notification as the president and it goes to parliament for debate, right? He was so mad that the prime minister, had to agree to take away that executive power to decide who could be DPP, who could be chief solicitor, who could be doing, by just saying no, bring me another name. Section 111 of the Constitution.
Diana, what's your question? Where, Diana? We can't hear you, Diana. We're not hearing you. Diana, we're not hearing you. Hold on, just a minute, Karen. We can't hear Diana. Hold on.
Yeah.
Diana has a quick question.
Okay, and that I'm sorry, but
hold on.
I love to come on your show, but
I know. Go ahead, Diana.
Yeah. You muted my mic. Are you hearing me now?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, Karen, how are you doing? No, okay. I don't understand much about the law other than I'm not supposed to break it.
Right.
All right. Being that is said, the chap that received the nomination or the award from his spouse, could he have declined that nomination?
Well, that would be an insult into the prime minister, because clearly that decision, as I know, that many of them already knew. They would already know. I believe, and I have good reason to believe, that they would already have known. This is what he wanted. And this is what, in my respectful opinion, I said, this is something that he deserves. So I never said, when it came to Kerwin Garcia, that he didn't deserve it. But why would he deny it? This is the ultimate accomplishment of a lawyer, you know. When you have senior counsel and you wear senior counsel robes and junior have to carry a brief thing, that is a huge honor, apart from your fees now going way higher. Who would, whether if you worked hard for it? No, why would he do that? He wouldn't do that. It just shows you that it did not take very long, because I said from the beginning, fit for purpose, using the constitutional provisions, not whether the person nice, not whether they're educated, whether nobody have 101 people like that. It's not that. She's a politician, straight off the politics. So her father-in-law was the minister of education, and so on. So when you did that, how could Christine Gangaloo not know? And how could they not know? But they don't care. They obviously don't care, because they went there and did it, and the AG smiling. That would happen in any country. Then to the prime minister say, we don't need service commission, we need a tribunal. We can't even trust the service commission, because when they sent the merit list with Gary Griffith in, which I am not I had him on a show, but I am not a person who supports Gary Griffith, but I don't like wrong. And when they sent the merit list with Gary Griffith coming scoring by far the best on the list, the prime minister admitted he was the one in that office with the president on the same day that Blessy Prasad, the head of the Police Service Commission, came to present the list, and he gave her the report. She said that what she said, the list was immediately withdrawn. How can a list be immediately withdrawn if it wasn't given to you? And under the Constitution, which she was very well knew how to use when they told her to appoint acting commissioner of police and acting deputy commissioner of police, she wrote to that same Blessy Prasad that she could not do what they're asking her to do because she is a creature of statute and has to operate within the four walls of the statute, and she can do nothing that the statute does not allow her to do. But yet, instead of preparing notification and sending it to Parliament, the list was immediately withdrawn. How are you doing things like that? How are you doing things? And after that, she got very quiet.
So, Karen, here's the last thing before we go. I know you got to run. Karen, is this the same type of process here with Dr. Wayne Frederick, the retiring president of Howard, getting the highest order of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago last year, and then this year, Dr. Rowley gets an honorary PhD from the same university that he gets?
I know what you have to say. And by the way, he is Trinidadian.
Yeah. You know,
no, so you saying that for your people in the States, but there may be people who don't know that the president of Howard was Trinidadian, and a lot of people were not happy because this whole issue with which we have to understand and not be so. We have to empathize with the fact that a lot of Black Americans feel resentful to Black Caribbean people because they seem to want to distance themselves, but that's a whole other story. So he got it's fair exchange is no robbery.
So Karen, listen, I want to get the ORTT because I'm the only Trinidadian who have established 20 or more world records. So I want to get the ORTT.
So you better not say any. Look, well, can I tell you something?
Yeah.
Have no guest on your show that is going to say anything negative about the government, and in particular the Prime Minister, especially that. And if they do say something, you shut them down. Well, forget about it. You know how many people should get it but don't get it?
No, I can't get that.
Well,
so I already disqualified myself. Forget it.
Let me just put it. Based on antecedents, the best predictor of future relevant conduct is past relevant conduct. So based on that theory, no, you have to go and say, mea culpa, Mr. Prime Minister. I don't know what got into me to ever say anything that made you not look like the wonderful emperor that you are. And I ask you now to relieve me of all my sins against you, and we start a new day. And then he will give you a chance and listen. And he says, that boy really should get that ORTT,
Karen.
He really should get it.
Karen, we're going to make you Prime Minister and you'll sort that out, okay?
Karen, listen to this. One quick question from the chat. So what can be done about this within the constraints of the law? What can be done about this within the
nothing, because they've acted within the constraints of the law. So, so and listen, okay, I might be making an analogy that people say, how should you make that analogy? But the point is, just because it's a law, one doesn't make it right. And just because it's a law that you can't amend and change it. That's what law is, a change and amended as we go forward. Law is not static. It's a living thing. It's dynamic. So merely because it was like that, you knew it wasn't right since 2011. AG knew it certainly wasn't right since 2015. So you knew that one of the first things you could have done was address that issue, especially since senior counsel Israel Khan had made it an issue in Trinidad. You knew that. So he said, let's deal with it and so on. But the law is law. But you know what? Slavery was the law too. Apartheid was the law.
Sure.
That was all the law. You tell me you couldn't go, there were bathroom for colors and a bathroom for whites, and you go, then you're breaking the law. There are beaches for you and beaches for them. That's the law. So apartheid was the law. So when you bold enough to break that law, you're breaking the law. So because you break a law, yes, they did not break the law. What they should have done was not allow this situation to continue. But they did what all politicians tend to do.
Karen, there's one more question for me. Is it possible, in my limited knowledge, that Dr. Rowley could be, what is the word I'm looking for? Padding that part of the country, that judicial body, for future bacchanal?
I don't understand. I'm not sure if I understand.
Well, like how Donald Trump was patting the different circuit courts around the
Yeah,
country.
but that's different. Their position,
different.
yeah, the way that you
Mhm.
become a judge, actually, the Judicial and Legal Service Commission gets involved in that, and the head of the Judicial and Legal Service is the Chief Justice. So you all have in America have a system. I think people become judges by you can actually compete, or for positions. Yeah, so it's a different system completely. So what they did was the law, and so you can't say that it was illegal, but so was apartheid, right?
So, Karen, we want to thank you so much. We're not going to keep you any
Thank
longer.
you.
It's always a pleasure for you to come and join us. Any closing words before you go?
No, I'm always happy to hopefully clarify, put some light on issues. And as you say, I try very hard to be objective and to be factual in what I say, because I don't want to be one of those persons who have an axe to grind and giving wrong information. I try my best to give correct information, and that is what I do on your show, and you allow me to do that. So it is a privilege for me to be on the show and to make a contribution as I can. So thank you, and good night to you all, to everyone.
Good night.
I'm going to sleep.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Good night.
So there we have it, folks. We have our, we're going to go for a quick station identification. It's in the village with the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. Stick and stay. We'll be right back after this. It's in the village with the DAT Triplets. We'll be right back after this message.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio. WZYE 95.9 FM.
This thing called PNM, this thing called UNC, is one set of dotishness to Mama Kai, you and me. It ain't have no color, it ain't have no race, it ain't have no principles or any values in place. And it was never meant to be the answer for unity. It shares no philosophy with any consistency. For when you watch the pedigree in each and every party, the difference you see turns out to be a case of power and money. Look here, them French Creoles in Saint-As, Maraval and Saint Clair, they don't hold no allegiance or no party here. Rich men must be supporting who they feel going to win. Loyalty, friends, means nothing. Money is their thing. That's why PNM quite on turned court to UNC. And when Del Monte, his background showed he was with DAC. Hector Macklin, the speaker, swore PNM till he dead. And when the last election over, he was UNC instead. Augustus Ramreka Singh, I knew him in Tapia. Next thing I know, he was a PNM minister. John Humphrey changed from Trinity, and he joined about 5 parties. So he's only die-hard new and grassroots me. It's PNM and UNC. I lie. Oh, this thing called PNM, UNC is only a power play to get our sympathy. It's not about African, it's neither East Indian. It have nothing to do with anybody's religion. Kamaluddin is a Muslim, Mahavi a Christian to the brim. Yet Montano the mulatto, different race, same party, you know. Johnny Milton and Rex Awan are two Chinese politicians. And while both of them love PNM, Brian Whiteton had a problem. Them French Creoles in St. Anne's, Marabal and St. Clair, tell them they don't know allegiance or no party here. Right through, rich men just be supporting who they feel going to win. Loyalty, friends, means nothing, money is their thing. The name Steve Ferguson is really an East Indian who with Ishak Galbar Singh, both parties they financing. Joey Saw and Eric Elias are PNM Lebanese, and yet Sabta of the same cast helps UNC pay their fees. Syrian businessman John Rahael, PNM make him mayor. An African Wade Mark as well, UNC made him minister. PNM's fundraising dinner had businessmen of all color. So it's only stupidity, you and me. It's PNM and UNC. I like. This thing called PNM, this thing called UNC, it foolishly splitting we on the grounds of ethnicity. It make friends mash up fast, race hatred it unmask. It cause ignorant people to bring out their gun and cutlass. And while poor people arguing about who good and who should win, the leaders jumping like monkey from one party to party. Just look at Arthur Sanderson, Horace Brooms is the next one. And first they could skip, they deserve a pick for hop, step and jump next Olympics. Look here, 10 French Creoles in St. Anne's, Marabal and St. Clair. Tell them they don't know allegiance for no party here. Rich men must be supporting who they feel going to win. That's right. Loyalty, friends, means nothing. Money is their thing. I see Bagan left UNC to open she own party. Kamala Bises and now previously she run wrong to UNC. Abu Bakr supported all three and now he fund nobody. Errol McLeod walking wrong daily, so you can't say which side he be. ANR, my good friend, walked out on Eric Williams years ago, and yet last year he would say how he loved Eric for so. Ralph Maraj and Manning get away, and Ralph was UNC next day, and yet Curtis you cussing stupid me for PNM and UNC.
We are back in the village with that.
Slim, don't teach you and stupid Tommy cussing one another.
That song is as real as you could get to, though. You know what I mean? That song is and it's so accurate. Don't teach you and stupid me cussing. You can't get better than that song.
Yep. Now you see why I say I am waving the Diana Benskin first. I know UNC, I know PNM.
Only don't you and stupid me cussing the other.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But you know what? It have another one here. Let me see if I could get this other one. This other one, what he sing. Hold on. Let me if I could, go ahead, go ahead. I want to get this other one by what he sing. Right? Let me see. Hold on. Okay. Hold on. Chucky's our boss. He's our boss.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, but
Okay, here it is. Hold on. Here it is. Here it is. Hold on. Here it is. Hold on. We got it. We got it. Okay. Here we go. Hold on.
I tell myself, look here, boy, Shoppy, time to do something for your country. By opening a political party, time for you to make the decision at the next general election and join the leaders of our nation. When I read them Sunday newspapers with all them cussing cuss neighbors, I tell myself I am not horizon. Selling cudgel like he joined the line. Martin Daly cussing the behind. And I'll correct my mind and I change my mind. Cause I find everybody of a new thing. They see cussing the fine and anthem. If you only come a problem, cussing the PNM. I saw it in danger, living in the house near the water. You see it running water. Go down, cow down to ambush them. Look at them in people and them. Still they cussing the PNM. It's only Californian from the review friend who not cussing the PNM.
Cussing. Using the PNM.
I am no privy to no party. I am not for what's in you crowd. I am simply saying things to be. A&R and Panda, when you see them later, they had a few husbands down here. But since you plan and lie, I think all of them is cutting lie. Even what they say is lie. And on the TV and the radio, man calling from fighting my arrow to cuss rowdy good pen in Tobago. Everybody out of these rods and brandy, cussing the PNM. And tame the system, bringing home and mayhem, but cussing the PNM. Like people on the road in danger, and keeping all your guns to cover. Anytime you see him iron it, government had to change laws to stop them from keeping your boat rubber pen, cause they cussing the PNM. It's only Californians like they be and them who not cussing the PNM.
We are back to close to the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. Come to every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. The custody.
You believe that?
No, I don't believe that.
I don't believe that. When you look at the rally in Toko, nobody wasn't cussing the PM. They were loving the PNM.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Denise said, yeah, the costing the PNM, boy. Hold on, I want to call Ulrich. Answer them, you better start capitulating to the PM so we could celebrate the ORTT, boy. Oh, yeah, but I just stop talking nice about Rowley, you know, PM Rowley, you know. Yeah?
And then you gotta do like
Well, I'm gonna call,
Karen said. Call who?
I'm gonna call because they're talking about Ulrich on the radio because Ulrich went to Ulrich says his grandson went to the PNM sports day. We call Ulrich to clarify if that is true or not.
Sports and Family Day in Toko.
Yeah, he went to the PNM Sports and Family Day, and Ulrich says his grandson ain't get nothing to eat. And they say Ulrich lying. And they say this big man.
Good night, good night.
Ulrich, you are live on WZYE 95.9 FM. How are you doing?
Hey, I doing fine, man. I doing fine.
We call you for a specific reason. I was listening to a radio station and they say this big man put out a thing on social media, say that his grandson went to the PNM Sports Day and he ain't get nothing to eat. So we want to hear, we want to hear from the horse's mouth whether that is accurate or if it's somebody stole your profile on Facebook.
But
no, it's not what you see my profile. No,
you were supposed to
say that to me. Hold on, Ulrich.
Ulrich, you were supposed to send your grandson with things to eat.
Yeah, you're supposed to send your grandson with things to eat. What do you mean?
No, this say they was providing things. They didn't say to send him with nothing else. But a good thing the mother put $100 in his pocket. Okay. The boy say they ain't getting nothing to eat and nothing to drink. The boy say he ain't going back and nothing paying him have again.
But Ulrich, I was
nobody know him
all over the place. Julia Davy said they have food all over the place. Julia Davy, call your name.
Well, yeah, all them big boys and them just go to the head of the table and eat and drink everything. So it really had food for them. It didn't have food for the kids.
So Ulrich, are you saying your grandson didn't get anything to eat from the PNM Sports?
He didn't get nothing to eat and nothing to drink. He said he's not going back to nothing PNM having again, and he's 9.
Hold on. Even the 9-year-old talks to the PNM.
Ulrich, he's very short.
I make a mistake. He's 12 years. He's not he's 12 years.
You say he's 9 years. He probably very short. Nobody can see him.
Ulrich, but I feel you just do that just to cuss the PNM. You know, talking about song, everybody cussing the PNM.
I never discuss no politics thing with that child. Never ever discuss no politics with that child. I tell you, this generation coming up there. This generation coming up there, you can't fool them. You know, the little ones watching, go going on and have their own opinion already.
So, Ulrich, let's clarify this. You are saying that your grandson went with Lavantil West to the sports day, correct?
Not Lavantil West. No, he live in Maloney. He went with a thing from Maloney side.
All right. So he went with the group from Maloney to the sports day. And the PNM.
When they went Toko that went?
Toko, yeah, Toko. And he didn't get anything to eat.
They eat 5 in the morning. 5 in the morning. Yeah. That was the child.
5 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, they leave from 5 in the morning to go up.
And he ain't get nothing to eat. They starve him.
Yeah. I don't, what's my answer him? I don't care or we don't take on them, sycophant on them, you know. Me don't care about them, you know. I talk where it is, and whenever I talk is that way it is. The child say that, and that way the child say, and I say the future is in good hands because if children thinking the way they're thinking from now, the next generation coming up, this stupidness with PNM and UNC and all of them doing them children standing for that. Because if I'll try talking so now, if he had the sense to make talk that we talking and make decision.
Ulrich,
they
said that you said that because you don't like the PNM. You don't like the PNM. That's why you said that.
No, that is not true. That is not true.
Yeah.
That is not true. I don't like the PNM, but I'm not talking thing because I don't like the PNM. I'm talking with my grandson. Say, Whether I like the PNM or I ain't like the PNM, it ain't serving no purpose. And I say, although I don't like Kamla and them neither, you know, but if was on that Kamla and them, the winner only get things to eat and drink, then I get things to carry home too.
Oh!
Are you saying that because you don't like the PNM? Is that why?
No, I'm not saying that because I don't like the PNM, it's facts.
He's saying that because they knocked down the building.
And so I not the kind of people who go back talk PNM and when election time come go and vote for them, you know. I not that, you know.
Yeah. All right.
You know that people that do things like that. I is not. And same you see the pass out silk boy.
All right. So you is one of them person chalky talking about that cussing the PNM then?
Yes, I think so. Yeah. Yes. Confession is good for the soul. I want.
We get already to confess. We can't get him to confess about the grandson though. That the PNM ain't gave him no food.
But I'm up soon, man.
Well, that is a preview of what is to come. Yeah, because
exactly, you can't fool them no more. You can't fool them no more.
Hey, all right.
Alright, thank you very much, man. Stop cussing the PNM, man.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. No, I ain't cussing. Chucky doing it for me. I ain't have to do it. All right, yeah.
Yeah, all right, good night.
All right. But listen here, Anselm. There's an article in the Express, right? And my good friend, Mr. Imbert, right? Imbert is saying that Hossein's statements are erroneous and ridiculous. The Economist criticizes IMF 2023 report on the Trinidad and Tobago economy. Minister of Finance Colm Imbert has hit back at UWI Professor Dr. Hossein, calling his statements about the local economy erroneous and ridiculous. Hossein responded to the recently published IMF 2023 report on the Trinidad and Tobago's economy. The IMF said the economy was recovering, but Hossein said he was not in agreement with that assessment and said the data told a different story. In a statement yesterday, the minister challenged Hossein's position. He explained that on May 1st, 2023, the executive board of the International Monetary Fund concluded that the 2023 Article 5 consultation with Trinidad and Tobago, Article 4, and endorsed the appraisal of its staff of the Trinidad and Tobago economy. He said the 2023 report was subsequently published on the IMF's website. Imbert noted that in the 2023 article, the IMF made the following statement among others. Trinidad and Tobago economy is recovering, supported by higher global energy prices and the rebound of the non-energy sector. The financial sector appears well capitalized, liquid, and profitable. Higher global energy prices helped improve the external position, turn the FY 2022 fiscal position into a surplus and lower public debt. The economic recovery expected to gain broad-based momentum in 2023 with real growth of 3.2% in 2023. So, Imbert is saying that the economy is doing good. IMF says so. However, this economist, Dr. Hossein, is disagreement. What do you all think? What do you all in the chat think? The economy coming around? What do you think, Anselm? Tommy?
Well, I mean, I would like to see, I will think that there's a possibility that the facts, what does the facts show? And if the IMF got facts, where did the IMF get the facts from in order for them to do that? Did the Ministry of Finance give them that facts? And they just went on those facts? Where did the person from UWI get his facts from? You know, that's what I would ask.
Yeah. I mean, he's a good...
If they deal with numbers don't lie, you know.
But that's what I'm saying.
He's a good person to bring in.
Yeah.
Bring in and yeah. I will try to get him.
Yeah. But right? I want to shift the goalpost a little bit to something that Brian Lara said. Let me get the Brian Lara thing.
Yeah.
With Brian Lara. Where did I get that? I think I have that in here. Let me get that one first.
That was in Sunday's paper. I read it.
All right, go ahead, Tommy.
His childhood friend.
He spoke up because it hit close to home.
Yeah.
You know, and Tommy, it's something, right? Brian Lara spoke up, right? And they said that, why was he silent all the time? And I asked the question, I say, well, you don't know if he was silent because you don't know what things he have done in his community, because he may not want to have made it public. He may have wanted to be done just privately. I mean, I don't know what, if anything, he has done within his constituency and across Trinidad and Tobago. I know he has given back a lot with cricket, and done quite a few things. I don't know what else he have done, but I want to piggyback off of this here and then go to the Brian Lara. Take a listen to this.
Simplex Athletic Club head coach Ganesh Prasad is a disappointed man. That's because he's concerned about the facilities for track and field in Trinidad and Tobago. Prasad does a lot of his coaching at the Manny Ramjohn Stadium and says the place requires some work.
When we're training, you cannot use the stand. If you look at behind me, no use of the stand. They say something. And the stand needs some repair over 3 years now. And the stand has been closed to athletes, spectators, everybody.
Trinidad and Tobago is hosting the Youth Commonwealth Games in August this year. Even though the track and field events are at the Hazley Crawford Stadium, Prasad feels repair work should not be neglected at the other grounds.
You're spending so much money to hold Commonwealth game, and we have no facilities in Trinidad. At Manny Ramjohn Stadium, bad condition track and stand. Larry Gomes, bad track need repair. At the Boland, track need repair. But we're spending $70-something million to host Commonwealth game.
Prasad, who has worked with many national athletes, including Marshall Cedeno and Caston Bledman, says many meets have had to be cancelled due to the unavailability of the stadiums. That, he believes, is a blow to the country's track and field.
Republic Bank of Stadia, Republic Relay Festival have to be cancelled. Commonwealth Games trials have to be cancelled. Trials for NACAC and the 1820 game have been cancelled. I want the minister to get up and work. In my so much years, the worst condition I've seen facilities in Trinidad and Tobago. Time to give us improved facility and we'll give it result.
Prasad says TNT is loaded with talent and can produce track and field stars to take the country forward. Vinod Narawani, TV6 Sport.
So, as the Republic Bank want to do this and want to do that, why don't they put up the money to help fix some of these stadiums?
And they're making a whole lot of profit off the backs of people. Right?
Their profits are so in all these banks in Trinidad.
Thank you. Why don't they go,
I hear you on Diana, but we spent $500 million on the Red House. What are we getting in return for that?
And wait a minute, there's how much you spent on the cow pens for Carnival?
Oh, that is the next thing. What, 46 million? That was 46 million. A track was the only cost about 2 million. I went Trinidad. I went to the Larry Gomes, I went to the Manny Ramjohn, and I went to the Otto Bolden. And let me tell you something. You see those tracks? Those are not real tracks, Those things were put in place when they hold the Youth World Cup in Trinidad and Tobago. And they were put in place by Jack Warner at that point in time, when he was vice president of FIFA. And Trinidad was going to hold the World Cup in Trinidad. Trinidad and Tobago was going to hold the World Youth Cup. And they did a fantabulous job. However, those tracks that they put on were not running tracks. They were jogging tracks. So what do I mean by that? A running track might have 6 inches of the surface, while a jogging track might only have 3 inches, because you just need to jog on it. You don't need to run, and pound on it.
Right? So what do they put to make the 6 inches? That's
the material, whether it's a Mondo type of material, and they put it 6 inches, but that's more money. You understand? If you cut that in half and you only put 3 inches, that's less money, but it still look good. It still look good, but you don't know that. So that's why a lot of kids in Trinidad was getting injured on them tracks and them. And that's why they don't use them much.
So they're too hard?
There you go, Tommy. Tommy, okay. See, Tommy, you too bright,
No, I don't. I know nothing. I'm asking.
No, you're right. You're absolutely correct. So what happens is that a lot of the kids get shin splint, they get ankle injury, they have Achilles injury, they get all the kind of injuries. And we have a person who never pitch marbles, but she's the minister of sports. And look, the fella talking. The fella talking about it, you know. But let me go to the Brian Lara now. When Brian Lara said about sports to make things even better in Trinidad and Tobago.
To improve.
Yes, improve
social conditions.
Yes. So this fella telling you about track and field. And here, Brian, boy, they cost Brian Lara left, right, and center.
Them PNMites again.
No, it wasn't the PNMites. It wasn't the
Who just cost them then?
all them people. They cost poor Brian, boy. Hold on, let me see what it is here. All right, let me see.
Brian knows about these things. I don't know.
Boy, you know, we like it so, man. We free.
No, they love you so. They take good care of you. Only the PNM has a plan.
Stop it.
Yeah, stop it. All right, let me go to this one here.
Well, they want me to stop. I'm not supposed to say nothing against PNM.
Then as they wouldn't get the ORT.
Yeah, you come on now, man. You trying to take away my ORT or you
With
trying to
ORT now? I lost. Only I lost with ORT.
ORTT.
ORTT. That's the highest
award. You mean a medal? Some medal from Trinidad and Tobago?
Order of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. The highest award in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, they need to be giving me one. All the work I just do that Donna Cox and I'm supposed to be doing.
They do not give it to Bajans.
How me don't get born in Trinidad? How we me don't give it to Bajans, please?
Barbados is Trinidad.
Yeah.
I born in Paget. I have a Trinidad but paper. But they don't like me, but that's all right.
Please don't let us have to go through this again.
What?
You may have to call Miss Motley.
I born in Trinidad. I is a Trinidadian. I'm a CARICOM girl.
Listen to this. Hold on.
Regional cricket mentor, international cricket coach, and living cricket legend Brian Lara is not known for publicly speaking out on matters like crime. But he says he was left in complete shock over video footage of a childhood friend being killed whilst watching basketball at a bar in Santa Cruz last week. Lara, who is currently in India, said, quote, "Today I am laying in my room in Jaipur, India, and yes, searching for answers and solutions for my team Sunrisers Hyderabad in the IPL. But deep down, I am hurting as I see my country slowly turning into a place that's unsafe for all Trinbagonians." End quote. He says it pained him to see his childhood village crumbling now under the burden of crime and relentless violence. Lara notes that while he recognizes these problems exist in other countries, he knows it's driven by complex social, economic, and cultural factors. He acknowledges that financial worries can lead young people to feel pressured into criminal activities to support their families, leading to lives in drug trafficking, gang activity, and other behaviors. And another factor he referenced is the breakdown of family structures, which can lead to a lack of guidance and supervision of young people. The cricket legend warns that the absence of parental figures or positive role models can leave young people vulnerable. And while he doesn't think any parent wants a life of crime for their kids, he says if they don't pay attention to their offspring, someone will happily do so for them. Lara recalls growing up at a time with many sport, culture, and beauty personalities and hoping to one day emulate them and also make the nation proud. Lara says the value of sport should not be ignored as it can provide a positive outlet for young people, helping to keep them away from negative influences. He adds that encouraging and investing in sports programs can help channel the energy and passion of young people into something positive, while also providing opportunities for personal growth and development. Cindy Raghubar Singh, TV6 News.
Remember when I was talking about the 41 constituencies and recreation departments, right?
Right.
Remember that, right?
Yep.
Brian Lara just echoed the same sentiment. Listen to Ganesh Prasad, the track and field coach. You see, that's what I tell all you. Is only stripping me and dirty shoes, paying them on UNC. Because what? We spend $500 million on the Raiders. $500 million, and a coach in Trinidad and Tobago begging to get a little track for these kids to go out and to keep them away from crime and all other activities. We spend $46 million on the cow pen on them, right? We spent $3 million on the security summit, right? And security summit come and go on. What do we get out of it?
Wait. And they said where I was reading, I just read, I don't know if it's, I'm reading from a newspaper, so I guess it's got to be somewhat credible. They said how there was an additional 1.8 million in expenses that they find. You know, somebody get that 1.8 million. They wash it and fix it, right? In accounting, you call it window dressing.
So,
that is all.
So that 1 point something.
Yeah, they found an additional 1.8 million in expenses because Young say it costs a certain amount, and then somebody else said no, it costs a different amount. So the two of them, the figures were, off. And then Stuart Young, whoever came out and said that they found there was an additional 1.8 million in expenses.
Okay, I mean, and people just sit down there and take that.
Yeah.
And take that.
An additional 1.8 million, and the killing. And while I applaud the efforts and to bring together the CARICOM countries to handle this one issue that it will interfere with their GDP, because people, I don't want to go somewhere where I feel I could be in my hotel room and a stray bullet come ping, hit me in my neck or my bamsy. I don't want to be there. So that is some problem that will affect all of them. So I was glad to see them come together under one umbrella. But it's still going on.
Lately it seems as though something is going wrong in this world. I'm just here thinking about all the madness that is taking place all over.
All over. You understand? All over. And look, we have domestic terrorism here. If we go to a mall, you have to be looking left, right, center, up, down, under. I'm sorry to say that, sir. When I go to a mall, I just be, what's the word I'm looking for, answer? You come in the mall and you dress up in too much of clothes and you're carrying a big bag, I don't start to profile you and go in the other direction. Yeah.
Because what happened in Texas lately is crazy. I mean, a man used a car to kill 8 persons.
They sit down there looking for work.
They were in a bus stop.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have this guy comes out of a vehicle with a automatic rifle and just mow people down in an open mall setting.
So listen to this.
Oh yes. Somebody help. Come and put a hand. Come and wipe away the blight and see what the plight that befall the man of this land. What's going on here? I would like to know why the whole world is in a turmoil. So it look as if we fire God from the job and give the work to the Beelzebub. Man, the devil have a hand in running the land. The devil have a hand in running the land. If you have the devil, I can understand. The devil have a hand in running the land. The devil have a hand in running the land. The devil have a hand in running the land. If you don't know the devil, I can understand. Like if Satan in control of running the land. Hey man.
We are back with you. all the things that going on. And but listen to this. Listen to this. All you remember when the COP recently put God in the thing? All you remember how I see and almost run she out of Trinidad and Tobago?
Right.
Yeah? Remember that?
Yep.
Boy, what? We you know what? We boy? Oh boy, oh
And
boy.
now a former COP, they didn't say who, I didn't ascertain, but I believe it might be, our friend, Mr. Griffith. They said he recommended building safe rooms in your home. So some of the people are like, okay, for renting now. Oh, I'm like, oh, geez, that's a safe room. You need safe room in your house now, eh? Okay.
But let me tell you this, let me tell you this story, One time, I had a good friend, and the friend was a good friend of a minister. And I was just returning back to Trinidad. And this minister lived in a highfalutin area in Port of Spain, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I stayed at the minister for 2 weeks. I ain't gonna call the minister name, right? And listen, in the minister house, to go to his bedroom, he had a steel gate.
Oh.
He had a door and a steel gate to go to his bedroom. When you go in the bedroom at night, he locked that steel gate. What you was saying?
So he had a jail. He had a cell, a jail cell for a bedroom.
Correct is right.
My thing with that, I want to sleep with the key around my neck, yeah? Because if you had to get up and you, in event of fire, you got to get out and smoke has, blocked your vision and you can't find where to put the key. What happened to you?
But just the thought that the citizens have to live in, who's supposed
They're living
to be
in
free, have
jail.
to live like they're in jail.
Yeah.
Is mind-boggling.
You think it
Yeah.
is?
I mean, some measures, but I saw an article too where, is it Reginald Dumas? I don't know if I'm getting the name right. Said that, Trinidad and Tobago is not what it used to be. I mean,
The whole world have issues, but I mean, to think that
But Tommy, back in the day, you leave here, you leave your stressful job, you leave the cold, whatever you leave, and you want to, you're going home, you're going to the beach, you're going on lime, you're going on party, you're eating a double, you see. Do you when you say you leave in here to go for a vacation and relax and hear the word, I am operative word, relax. Trinidad and Tobago just come to your head?
well, based on where I'm going, it still comes to my head, but I thought there are parts that makes me very, very uncomfortable.
And look like Tobago recorded another murder again.
But
Right?
listen to this, right? The but that is not a real place, So the police turning 60 soon. They have to go to cabinet, pass a law now to give her extension of another year. Why don't they just change it? Why don't they change it?
Are we talking about 60?
Yeah, 60. 60.
My goodness.
They had to go to cabinet to change the law now to ratify an extension for her so she could get another year extension.
As long as she's in good shape, she should be able to go to 70 once she's in good shape.
Man, we serious?
My Tommy.
We not serious. Trinidad is not a real place. I'm sorry. It's not a real place. It cannot be a real place. Why you have a commissioner of police on a year contract? You a lame duck. You are lame duck.
That's right.
Oh, them lame.
You are lame duck commissioner of police.
Yeah, because she's liable to not work after that year is over.
Correct. Look at Jacob. Jacob sitting on the sideline now. Right? Just as how these Venezuelans selling at the sideline, selling on the road. Children, migrants, begging, vending from Venezuela. Right? Do we have some type of policy in Trinidad with respect to child labor? Or we don't?
I think there is.
So is it enforced?
That's the other thing. How many laws are enforced?
Boy, I don't know, boy. I don't know, boy. I don't know. 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 I really don't know. Let me go to the chat. I don't know. Highly say, we at the end of the road here is the devil or God. Who you with? What kind of? Yeah, Jacob taking money and ride out highly. Yeah, Jacob smart. Jacob is a smart fella. Jacob says, see me? Partner, I going on vacation. I going for a 3-month vacation. When I come back, I relieve, no stress, and I go and take my money and ride out. That is it.
They say Trinidad and Tobago, the legal age for employment is 16.
16?
Mm.
Yeah.
So under 16, yeah, that's child. Illegally employing that child.
Yeah, Rennie says, Dini, sometimes it take a crucial situation to awake a dormant issue.
True.
I don't know, but I don't know why them don't come and just ask me for some advice, seriously.
But look, Gary Griffith wanted to give them some advice, and he reject them. They reject him.
So Denise is saying, just asking, had his friend not been killed, would he have spoken about against the high rate of crime?
Good question, Denise. Very good question.
But you see, I hear you, Denise. But I think maybe, and I don't want to go into Lara brain, and I have to do maybe Brian Lara have been doing other things in the community in order to help with crime.
Yeah, you don't know.
Possibility could be spending his money and assisting with certain activities, right? So he didn't have to speak up about it. They say action speaks louder than words, right? So this might be the first time that, and this is a good point in Israel, is because I remember this, and I digress in here. I remember one time some people from Westmoreland went and marched around the savannah because something happened in their communities. And I write an op-ed piece to the Guardian, and I tell them, I was telling them all the time, all you're seeing things happening in all them other areas, and all you're saying on all your comfort. Wait until it reach all your home, then all you're going to be out there marching. So said, so done. You understand? So, I mean, in life, sometimes you just say, well, it's not affecting me, But I want to think that there's a great possibility that Brian Lara may have been doing things in his community before.
You don't know.
And we don't know. And being that he spoken out publicly, because the fella is not really a public fella. You understand? So this hit home for him. And he finally had to speak out, and the Prime Minister called. Oh, you know what I wanted to say? All I think about this, right? Is the Prime Minister taking vacation an issue anymore?
Now, how many days passed?
He just come back, like when Sunday. He just come back. Today's only Tuesday. That's not an issue no more.
Non-issue.
It's probably issues, but they're going on now. They're going on now to the Cirque thing.
Silk, we on Silk now.
But getting back to Lara, a lot has been happening in Lara's neighborhood. It's just getting closer to him now. But think about it. In Santa Cruz, every time you turn around, there's something going on in Santa Cruz.
Yeah. Well, look how long things going on in Lavantil. Years now. It's years now. It's going on in Lavantil. And by the way, earlier, I'm going to release that audio with Fitzgerald Hines, because Fitzgerald Hines and them wicked and evil. They're evil. That's why country in the condition that.
You really don't want the ORTT?
No. Me what that? Me want to know ORTT. Me what that?
So who's mentioned for the ORTT?
No. Dr. Wayne Frederick, who's the current president of
Howard
University, is at HBCU. He's retiring in September.
Okay.
Right? He received the ORTT in May of 2022. In
2023.
Say that again, Tommy.
And this year, 2023.
Yes. Dr. Rowley received an honorary degree from Howard, where Dr. Wayne Frederick
honorary doctorate.
An honorary doctorate, where Wayne Frederick is the president. So the same type of shenanigans with the silk. Them fellas and them consistent in the behavior, and we Trinidadians sit on, well, not we, them Trinidadians just sit on and take it. You understand?
Well, he's gonna, he's gonna. I don't know.
They're saying don't and take it. A man get ORTT. What the hell he do for Trinidad and Tobago? What he do for Trinidad and Tobago?
You don't know until they dig up in the background.
No. Watch. If he had done anything for Trinidad and Tobago, it would have been in the public space. And on the qualification, they didn't say he do, because he's a Trinidadian and he's a president, he's a doctor, he was considered to be one of the best surgeons, so he get the Order of Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. That is the not the qualifications. That's not the qualification. And all of a sudden, what Dr. Rowley do for people here in America or for Howard University to get an honorary PhD? What? But you see, I don't want to make it into politics. I'm not making it into politics because if I had to criticize the PNM, I will criticize the PNM. If I criticize the UNC. But PNM people don't criticize PNM and UNC people don't criticize UNC. That's why the condition going to hell in a condition. That's why the country going to hell in our ways basket.
Fast. Right? How the hell a man go get the highest award in Trinidad and Tobago and then march from Toko to Sandy Grande to Piaco to, are going right, Tommy? All the way down to Tongue. How come they in march? Not one word. They have PNIG. All you know what PNIG is? PNIG? All you know what that is? PNIG. Tell us. Permanent Novocaine incomes. That's what they have, PNIG. They have PNIG, permanent Novocaine incomes. They ain't not one word from them. All of them. Let me tell you, the underground report, the nonsense and nonsensibility, the other one on the let's call it the Mugabe station. Wherever that station is. Let's call one. The Mugabe station and one in the Kokiai station. You know, that real name for them station. Let me tell you that. All of them, they are no testicular fortitude. They're like Christmas tree in the forest. There are no balls. Well, you can't like Fitzgerald Hines say, you made vile remarks about him. So you can't make no vile remarks about PNM nor Dr. Rowley.
All I say to that fella, why didn't Patrick Manning make you a minister and you was only a junior minister? Why? Why Patrick Manning? You was never a minister on a Patrick Manning cabinet. You couldn't make it. But all in a sudden, you come here now in the RPNM and you had three different, well, you get fired from two of them. You had three different ministries. And you couldn't stay in two of them. Why? Look, them is facts. Them you know me making it up. That is facts. Patrick Manning had that fella as a junior minister. Imagine that. All them years. Yeah? Oh, listen, all of them is the same thing. Kamala gets silk, Kangaloo, husband, and brother gets silk. What's the difference? Wait.
That's why I was saying Kamala calling Rowley lazy. She got the nerve.
What's the difference? Hold up. Let me play my song. Hold on.
Saying kettle bottom black.
Yeah. Hold up.
This thing called PNM, this thing called UNC, is one set of dotishness to Mama Kai, you and me. It ain't have no color, it ain't have no race, it ain't have no principles or any values in place. And it was never meant to be the answer for unity. It shares no philosophy with any consistency. For when you watch the pedigree in each and every party, The difference you see turns out to be a case of power and money. Look here, them French Creoles in Saint-Anne, Maraval and Saint Clair. They don't hold no allegiance or no party here. Rich men as me supporting who they feel going to win. Loyalty, friends, means nothing. Money is getting. That's why P&M quite on turned court to UNC. And Randall Motley, his background showed he was with DAC. Hector Motley, the speaker, swore P&M till he dead. And when the last election over, he was UNC instead. Augustus Ramreka sing, I knew him in Tapia. Next thing I know, he was a PNM minister. John Humphrey changed from Trinity and he joined about 5 parties. So he's only die-hard you and grassroots me. It's PNM and UNC. Bye. I lie. Oh, die, die, die.
Get back with you. Hey, Kapiza, I don't know. Is it Sir Solomon Hochoy? I don't know. Kapiza asked that question.
Who was the first to get it Trinity Cross?
Yeah, is it Solomon Hochoy?
Don't have an answer, but I'm gonna Google it.
Yeah. I think it's Solomon Hochoy. Yeah. Kapiza will be asked. Oh, Kapiza also asked another question about let me see if I could get that one. Kapiza boy. Kapiza trying to test we boy. Kapiza trying to test we. Okay, hold on. Kapiza trying to test we. He's a captain boy. Captain the sickest shimping.
Captain, the ship
Captain.
The ship is
boy.
The ship is
pimping boy.
Oh no.
Yes, Captain, the ship is pimping. Captain. Yeah. Ellis Clark, the first Trinity Award in Trinidad was awarded to Ellis Clark.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it said. Huh?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but Kapiza has asked some good questions, you know, when you write.
When you ready.
Yeah, when you're ready, you know. That's what I'm telling you. Don't worry about his 10%. Take him for his 90%. You know what I mean? Ian Hiley.
But answer my question though.
What other thing? He asked a question, but what is a homestead exemption? A homestead exemption is a legal provision that allows a homeowner to reduce the value of their primary residence for property tax purposes. The exemption can lower the amount of property tax owed by reducing the taxable value of the property. So Kapiza also asked a question earlier. So here it is. A homestead exemption is a legal provision that allows a homeowner to reduce the value of their primary residence for property tax purposes. The exemption can lower the amount of property tax owed by reducing the taxable value of the property. Or Kapiza, in this Essex County here, if you are a priest or you don't pay property taxes. So in certain constituency here, you have priests living in some nice house. And
sure, I need to explore that in my area.
Yeah.
You want to become a priestess?
Mother Diana, Sister Diana. Let me see. Prior, what do you mean, Nana? I ain't gonna make a good priest?
No, but you can't be trying to be the system. You know what I mean?
Hello. If the loophole is there to be, taken advantage. Donald Trump take a whole lot of advantage, a lot of loopholes, though.
You just can't go and become a priest because you want to not pay property tax.
Who says who?
Yeah.
I'm going to explore that. How you turn it into a homestead. What are the pitfalls and what are the pros? What are the cons?
No, but as a perk, a lot of people get here in Essex County in the community, especially in this community here of South Orange Maple. There's a lot of them live up the hill and they have some mansion and they don't pay property tax. Yeah, correct is right. Capiza, Rennie, Hailey,
what's that Rennie said? Something about her? You see what Rennie said?
Dennis G.
Judy V is still there. Dennis G, Tropics, Nadia. Put closing comments in the chat. Now, Judy just sent me a good idea. Judy, do you want me to read this idea, Judy? Unless you give me permission to read it. Judy sent me a brilliant idea, a fantabulous, splendiferous idea. Brilliant idea. Brilliant idea, Judy. Judy, if you want me to read it, I'll go read it. But if you don't want me to read it, I ain't reading it. Denise said it's mind-boggling that we applaud the Chinese artistry of Shen Yun and others where artists use fabric to float in the air, yet we denigrate the pole as an art form with tasteful approach. Okay.
A lot. Denise, that went over my head. I lost.
Let me repeat that. Denise says, it's mind-boggling that we applaud the Chinese artistry of Shen Yun and others where artists use fabric to float in the air, yet we denigrate the pole as an art form with a tasteful approach.
Who does fly through the air on cloth?
Yeah, the Chinese do that.
Okay. And what is that?
Nobody is
flying through the air on cloth. Okay, if that there's a whole lot of reasons with this pole thing, eh? If it's coming from China, I definitely don't. I don't want it. And then you know what I'm saying?
No, but
and what? And we then what? Float in the air. We denigrate the pole as an art form. But what approach is tasteful about a young lady? You know, come on, Denise. You're my girl, but no, I don't care. No,
scantily dressed.
Yeah, scantily dressed. We need to go. But what is going to be tasteful? Remember remember they were allowed to dance Anslim in two-piece in the road, right? Carnival. What are they doing now? They just painted thing on the body and they go in. How far? Where are we gonna go? We allow a pole in the classroom. What next? What do you really think will happen next, Denise? What you really think will happen?
Anna, I mean, if they want to have an elective with a pole dancing, I see nothing wrong with that. Elective pole dancing.
Well, I hope none of my female members in my family waste the time going to learn nothing about dancing on no pole unless she's planning on becoming a stripper.
So, folks, let's go for a quick station identification. It's in the village with the DAT Triplets and WZYE 95.9 FM. Folks, put your closing comments in chat. Stick and say we'll be right back.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM.
Hey, hey, oi, oi. Hey, hey, oi, oi. In Trinidad and Tobago, politics was we and them. That was never meant to be so, according to the anthem. But ethnic insecurity was maintained to divide us by some people in the country to sow the seeds of distrust. But we have got a new system within the community. Now what used to be we and them has now become only we. From now on this nation is we. From now on it is you and I. From now on it is unity. From now on we flying high. All the races have come together to build a better country and create a brighter future for the whole society. The we and them thing is no more, because it is plain to see in this country from shore to shore the community is we. No more we and them from now on, this nation is we. No more we and them from now on, this nation is we and we and we and we.
We are back with you. It's in the village with the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. We come to every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. That's Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. Denise says, do you know that a political scientist gets $30,000 a year to teach? No, I didn't know that, Kapisa. We're in Trinidad?
Oh, plenty, yeah.
30,000 a year. That's $360,000. Oh, 30,000 a year? What? Nah, come on. 30,000 a year?
That's no money.
I thought you were talking about 30,000 a month. I know go and multiply 30,000 by 12 and say 360,000. I was like, I ain't that bad.
30,000 a year to teach Anselm? Could you live on that?
I don't know about that. No, I don't know about that. I don't know where I get that. I don't know. 30 years to teach. Where? In Trinidad? Diana, Denise says we don't have to be scantily dressed. We can wear a gymnastic and ice skating costume to demonstrate beautiful body movement.
I don't care. Look, gymnastics and ice skating is two different things. You see that pole? That pole has a history of and resonates, sex. You're selling sex. Yeah, I am. You're skinning all. No, I say no. I don't care however you put it. That pole, that is not no. That ain't something. What? Come on, man. Where we going now?
She says the only difference is doing it free form or using a pole or fabric. See what I mean? We give to get.
I don't follow the Chinese thing anyway. Them could fly through the air wherever they want. Not me.
Form human the way it has been done in the past. All right.
No pole. Sorry.
I said, Denise, don't try to justify that type of behavior.
Yep. No. No. No pole. No pole, Denise.
You have a political science degree from Georgia Southern.
I actually understand where Denise is coming from.
I understand where she's coming from too. I understand.
They're different. It can be viewed in two light.
What can be viewed in two lights?
That it's artistic, or it could either be viewed as artistic or sexual.
I don't see nothing artistic about that. No. All I see is pornography and sex you're selling. What is artistic about it? I see gymnastic as artistic. I see ice skating as artistic. But I see nothing with you on a pole and you're skinning all out, right? Onto something that is historically has a connotation of porn. Stripping.
If you are dressed,
I don't care how you're dressed.
Unrevealing, so to speak.
I don't care. You know what? You know what? This is another thing, and another thing again to denigrate women some more. Yeah, teach them. Let me think them. Yeah, make them let them feel empowered to go and don't teach them to ice skate. Don't teach them roller skating. Don't teach them. Ice skating, acrobat. No, go and do this.
Suppose they make it an Olympic sport. It's not denigrating if they make it an Olympic sport.
Well, I would be one of the people who would be chanting no for it. Oh boy, wherever I see them, I'll cry it down.
So, folks, Tommy, closing comments?
Yes, closing comments. Almost everything will work again if you unplug it for a few minutes, including you. Like I always say, never look down on a person unless you're giving them a hand to pick them up. And never forget, that love is the key. So let's live in love. Again, it's been a pleasure being here. Look forward to our next session. Till then, be safe. Love you all.
Thank you, Tom. Speak positive words into your life every single morning. Think big, think healing, think success, think peace, think happiness, think growth mindset. Always start the day with positive energy. You deserve it. From where I sit, this is it. The clock on the wall said that's all. I like to stay, but I've got to go. Remember, hard work beats talent. When talent does not work hard, for every 60 seconds of anger, you lose 1 minute of happiness. See you. Same WZYE time, same WZYE channel. Go ahead, Diana.
And pertaining to this pole thing, we teach girls to shrink themselves, to make themselves smaller. We say to girls, you have ambition, all right? And I want to say to women out there, girls who, don't even think about this pole as no Olympic nothing. Behind every successful woman is herself. You don't need to be on a pole to show your capability. You don't need to go up and skip up dancing on any pole anywhere. Right? You need to go in the classroom. You can become an acrobat. You can become. Come on, a pole. No, come on, ladies. This is Diana Benskin bidding you Auf Wiedersehen. Good night. Stay safe and be good. And you, Rennie? You ready? Let me lay it on the line. I got a little inside, and you know what? The man has to deal with it. Boy, you're moving kind of slow. You better keep it up now. There you go. I'm packing all the flavor you need. I just got shook. I'm shook you in your knees. You hear my rap, Hansel?
Rennie says today mark 26th anniversary, boy. Ronnie, congratulations, man. 26. Anybody, I have 34, boy. This year is 35, boy. 35.
Oh, and so not to interrupt you before we go. We have I ain't gonna speak it all out. A family member, staunch family member in the village lost their sister. So we didn't see them tonight. Yeah.
Yeah. We
offer him our condolences. I don't know if he wanted, but he knows who he is.
Yeah. Yeah, is he in foreign, right?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Lost his sister, yes.
Right. So condolences. I'll call him. I'll give him a call.
Yeah.
Denise says, closing comments. Every now and then a person's mind is stretched by a new idea or sensation and never shrinks back to the former dimension. Thank you, Denise. Ken John says, good night, you guys. Blessings, Diana and Sam Tommy. Be safe. Shalom. I see Eugene tonight, but your wife ain't gave me phone.
No, you might even pay the internet bill.
A piece of a political science degree from Georgia Southern. Okay. Then he says PhD only gets 5 to 10K per course, depending on the school. Yeah. Rennie says live, love, laugh, ingredients to long life. Let me see if I have any more comments down here. Okay, so we're gonna go out tonight with a song by Crusoe, Productivity. Good night, folks. See you. Same WZYE time, same WZYE channel later.
Car shopping can be a little shocking, right? Get more for your money.
You don't want that. Okay, here we go.
Down in Shagaramas, big convention. They wanted to find suggestions to improve our production. Thousands of people were down there that time, but I just